races, don't they? It's been the wacky season, but very open this week. Luke Beveridge, who of course records an equal record of his own today, coaching his 228th game, equaling Ted Whitten's record for the Western Bulldogs. But he's been very open about, if we're going to talk about finals, we have to at least deserve to talk about finals, and that's winning the last couple of matches. They of course play GWS in Ballarat next week. So the narrative of the match, it's a big day for the Western Bulldogs.
Some great Bulldog names there, none bigger of course than Ted Whitten and Charlie Sutton, a much celebrated and loved figure for so many years. Rodney E, Terry Wallace and Mick Malthouse. So it's a steam company that he's in. It's a familiar position for the Dogs at this time of the year. Last year they lost round 22 and round 23, and despite winning in round 24 against the Cats, they missed out. And in 2022 they lost in round 21 a home game to Freo before winning the last two games and scraping in only to lose the first final after finishing 8th. And even back to when they played the grand final in 2021, they lost to Port Adelaide at home. Despite being 11 points up at three-quarter time in round 23. That meant they missed out on the double chance by percentage. So they always seem to be in this similar position at this time of the year. They slipped up last week, and as we said, they simply can't afford to this week, knowing they have the Giants next week in Ballarat. That won't be easy. They must beat the Kangaroos, who we know have only won the 3 games so far this year.
That was since the bye, though, and they'd be a little bit wary because it wasn't that long ago that the Bulldogs played North Melbourne. It was only
a tough
7 weeks ago. It was a 17-point win, and it wasn't comprehensive at all. So they'd be wary today.
Yep, they certainly would. And this Kangaroos team, of course, the heartbreak of last week, they basically won the game twice last week against West Coast and then lost it twice. And it would have been pretty devastating for a group. It's a long season for a young team coming through, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of mental application as well as the physical stuff that they can produce today. Great to have Jack Reel alongside us this afternoon along with Brad Johnson. We're still just getting over that drum from yesterday at the MCG.
It was great to be there. Great to be there watching it, but today a big step for the Bulldogs. They need to make sure they win and win well today. They need to prime themselves for finals. If they want to be playing there today, is an important stepping stone.
3 teams and 12 wins and 9 losses with 2 to play. So we're set to go. Round 23 from Marvel Stadium. Bulldogs and Kangaroos. Start your Sunday ticket on Fox Footy. McRae and Bergman are the subs. And it's Rory Lord that is starting in the ruck, which probably makes sense without English in the team to disrupt one end and not both. McKercher, 37 disposals, running off half-back last week. And Scott in his 100th game, up to half-forward. It's a new look Teakle we just saw off camera. There's Tucker waving away to McKercher. Hasn't kicked a goal as a Kangaroo yet. And that was a close shave.
How good is that, though, with McKercher? He starts at half-back, he runs off Vandermeer, gets involved in the first, second possession of the game, and then follows up like that. He's got the courage to run. He's got the freedom to run as well.
His last 8 games, he's racked up 30 disposals all over. McKercher, Vandermeer, Daniel over the top. Bontham, Pally, clever little tap. Just it didn't bounce the right way for Liberatore. Scott came through. The 1-2 with Powell. And then Scott's little trundling ball towards centre half forward. Not good enough, cut off by Fraser. So gets on with it quickly. Required distance narrowly to Daniel, and then Bramble sold a little bit of candy, goes up the corridor. Norton, a little niggling knee, but he's here. Brambles kick inside 50 off targets. Condon with the ball.
And they come away. Zerha let the ball do its thing, and now kicks to a one-on-one. Larkey had prime position against O'Donnell. Without lob, it does mean they are going to potentially be extended down there. Curtis had to wait, and didn't he wait the right perfect moment for Larkey, who crafts the ball roughly towards goal. And well played back there by Fraser in between 2 Kangaroos. It was Hanson Jr. and Luke Davies-Uniacke. Clarko didn't quite come together for him.
There's a missed kick there by Nick Larkey. He had a couple of options, but Fraser read it well. He was able to rush that behind.
A couple of positive forays for the Roos early. Dale to Bramble, and now Duray. So Duray as they massage it inside 50. Richards, short to Liberatore. And now Waitman at half-back. Spots a man in Treloar. The kick's offline though. He's got a little bit of work to do. McDonald's there for company. Hanson Jr. coming in from the side. Treloar did pretty well. Hanson Jr. on hands and knees, and in the end, Stevens sends it over the boundary line. Good contest over on the far side of the ground.
North Melbourne's a little bit lazy at the moment on defence. Can't give up too many of those uncontested marks. It actually starts to peel your defence apart, and the Bulldogs will pick them.
Yeah, especially if the Bulldogs get their ball movement right.
Shallow throw in. Sherry won it narrowly. Waitman out of the congestion, looking for Norton. Core read it better at the back. Gave Arch a little bit of work to do, but did well the young man. His handball to the corridor. It's a dangerous one. Gives Williams a chance. His handball only as far as McKercher. Clever tap from Fisher. Zerha through the middle. Powell. Here's Tucker to centre half forward. Long ball. Lucky. He can play on and bang it through for North's first and kicks it into the third row. Good positive stuff from the Roos in the early stages of this.
There's an element from the back half there for Jackson Arch. You can see what North Melbourne are trying to do. They are trying to shift the ball from the back half to the front half as quickly as possible. It was McKercher's handball here. I loved this little tap on. Just forward footy, get it going. And North got ahead of the ball, and Nick Larkey out the back is nearly undefendable. Doesn't matter if it's Liam Jones or whoever's playing on him today. If he gets that backspace, John, good luck catching him.
Especially with the way North Melbourne have been able to transition the ball in the first few minutes of this game from D50 to attack with speed. And they're lucky they haven't got a couple of goals. Unlucky they haven't got a couple of goals on the board, but they capitalise here with beautiful ball movement again over the top to Larkey, holding himself deep inside 450.
He thoroughly enjoyed kicking that one through. Number 46 for the season. For the 26-year-old spearhead. And the Roos have come with good energy. Lob on the follow, though. Gives it out to Vandermeer. McKercher tries to defend, but unsuccessful on that occasion. Williams, the stand start. Bontempelli is pushed forward. Darcy! A juggle! And he lands it.
And he didn't look like he was going to make that contest, Darcy. It looked like Bont the whole way, and he was able to float in.
Going to get a great look at his run up here. We've spoken about it.
Well, he may start on the left here.
What's he like on the left? He's pretty...
No, he's known a few throughout the year in this scenario. You can see the push and shove there. It didn't look like it, but the fight to get back, it just lands in his lap.
22-17 with 6 misses from set shots, but that is bang on target. He's done the work, and he kicks the goal.
Couldn't start any better there, Sam Darcy. It's always the little man on the top of your shoulder after you've come off 1 goal 5. What are you going to do when you get your first set shot at goal? Now, he's 200+ centimetres here. That there is a big boy mark. Bit fortuitous that it fell into his hands, but the comeback, and he's got this in his weaponry where he actually starts to float across the side of packs and sort of posts himself up there. The ball obviously fell in his lap, which helps there, but I love that. Go back with a bit of conviction. Sometimes you can second guess as well. You can see last week he was absolutely phenomenal. The only part of his game that was let down was that shots for goal, but team high contested possessions in a team that's very good at contested possessions, and also those score involvements.
You won't see a mark as good as that for the rest of the day, I reckon. That was a beauty.
Good call early. Oh.
Lob.
Let's hope so.
Liberatore in the back. Wardlaw plays the old-fashioned way, and we love watching him. Short to Powell. Powell, Hanson Jr. has been busy early. Score. He's going to kick it long to the pack. Carlos waits at the back, but it's been plucked. It's been plunked by Sherry, who brought his own Sharon last week.
Well, he had to get forward there, Tristan Sherry. Rory Lobreau's been playing back for most of the back half of this year in the ruck today with no Tim English, but he posted himself up in the right spot, but Sherry was able to get in behind Rory Lobb. Now, as a ruck, it's actually a really good tactic to push past your ruckman and get goal side so they have to watch the ball and you.
So, Sherry from the pockets. Saunters in. Deliberate approach. Second goal for North.
That's a big goal by North again, a deep entry inside forward 50, but Cherry doing the job on three really Bulldogs that were positioning themselves here in the contest. You've got Rory Lobb there, you've got Jones. Larkin did a great job in that. And Karmas just tried to position himself for the big jump over the top, but couldn't get himself in the right spot to leap and cause a spoil. So that's a huge pack mark. We've seen two now, one at the other end from Sam Darcy. And this one's equally as good from Tristan Cherry.
It's a big challenge for Rory Lobb today. We know that he was sort of nearly on the heap in terms of he was probably potentially going to ask for a trade, but then went down back and re-established himself as a part of this Bulldogs back six. But he's got a massive job in the ruck today, against Tristan Cherry.
Isn't the competition hot for the All-Australian ruck position? Max reminded everyone he still had a pretty decent season yesterday. Darcy Cameron was pivotal in the Collingwood win. Powers kick wiped out. Now Waitman high, tracking it back Norton, but Conbanoy gave him a look, which he wasn't necessarily expecting. Flipped it to Ugle-Hagan, and he strolls in. So that hurts. Or helps, depending on who you're supporting. Frustration showing for Alistair Clarkson.
Yeah, it is a little bit. They're a mistake, an opportunity to take the grab, and he knows that his teammates are around him supporting him. But it started in the middle. North Melbourne looked like they were going to be out here off centre bounce. Big tackle by the Bont. They get the handball back, and then just a little smother there to keep it in the area, and the Bulldogs are able to clean it up, and then they get a little bit of luck here with the drop mark and numbers around to get goal side.
One of the hardest things to do when the ball goes up. It was a drop punt from Cody Waitman. He just kicked it straight up. It was one of those floaters, and Coleman was sitting underneath it, just about with Aaron
hitting the drum on the way through.
The roof was 6. But certainly not a position you want to be going in back there with Aaron Norton coming at the front.
So back in the middle, Sherry wins it down. Davies Uniacke went without it. Lobb. Bonton Kelly just wouldn't sit for him, but he creates time, doesn't he? Got it to Richards, blazing through the middle. Kick towards the pockets. Lunging out after it was West through the fingertips and Spittle over the boundary line.
Little watch for North Melbourne now. The Bulldogs exiting out the front of stoppage. That was nearly perfect kick there. But Ed Richards streaming through 50. You'd like to think they'd get a better result than that.
Clearances 5-1. Fatic early. Lobb got a boot to it, was looking for Richards, scrounging around Davies Uniacke. Powell back to Davies Uniacke, last line. Chip looking for Comben, and he's raked it in. After the previous passage of play, he's done well. So Comben, short inside defensive 50. Davies Uniacke. Going corridor to Archer. There's a bit of run on his outside. He's going wider to Core. Sherry. North Melbourne looking to build something as Core kept running for the big man. Over the head of Hanson Jr. Karmas with the big fist. Gave the opportunity to Dale. Dale hugs the boundary line with a wobbly one. Sherry had a fair bit of it. Play on is the call, and he's going to retreat back to Archer, but it's over his head. Young man's got some work to do, and Waitman's bearing down on him. He got him. It was stolen by Ugle-Hagan. Richards is there. Davies Uniacke kicks it up. Richards has got him. Umpire says you're holding it.
Just another unforced error here from North Melbourne, opening up an opportunity for the Bulldogs. There's a couple of really great tackles in there. Firstly, one from the Roos, and then that tackle there from Richards. Just had him pinned. As soon as you put the ball up in the air like that, you're showing the umpire that you've got an opportunity to get rid of it. You'll get pinged every single time.
He's kicked 7 goals this year. Ed Richards. This will just about take his best. Kicking outside 50. Worked hard for the opportunity. Arcs around to give him a little bit more distance. It's not bad. It's a brilliant kick.
You're right, 2 goals off North Melbourne's mistakes for the Bulldogs so far in this first quarter. And this one, it was just Cherry. Did all the work to support the contest, won it on the ground, and then over the top of Archer. So puts him under pressure, ball bobbles away. Waitman sticks the tackle.
That was a great tackle there
from Comben as well. As both teams are having a red-hot crack in this first quarter, and then Richards was able to nail Davies Uniacke and finish his work.
And that's just that little bit of polish at the moment that maybe is preventing North Melbourne from winning games like last week against West Coast. It's just little small unforced errors. So Sherry misses the kick, and then Archer is running back to goal with no one there to support. And Cody Waitman comes in. There is no that pressure situation there. Just forces fumbles.
For Ed Richards, 7 goals, 10 coming in today. And the Dogs, feels good for Jono too, 3 out of 3 so far. And they lead by 4.
Uribe told me that he's only the set shot goal kicker.
Oh, that's right. You can only measure him on his individual
Ed Richards was on the run too, that one.
That was sick.
Second time. So Waitman starting in the middle for the Dogs. Part of that midfield mix. Same with Gallagher. Back in the team today. Inside 50, Eaglehagen bypassed Tim West. Clamped immediately by Archer. Fisher with a rush. Back to the wing. Dogs well stocked, although in each other's way. Fraser, maybe off the bots. Comes to ground level. Hanson Jr. deep. Larkey starts behind Jones. He's a hard man to get around.
Don't mind that in the middle of the ground, though, with 2 Dogs going at it. Rory Love had his eyes on the ball as well through that contest.
Giray received it from O'Donnell as they horseshoe it around. Bramble. Fraser. Been busy early, Fraser. Back to O'Donnell. Slight hesitation. Now back to Giray. So Fraser, a little bit of pace as well. Short to lob. They work it along the wing. The kick is a worm burner in the end. Met by Comben. Handball Fisher. Sherry standing start. Back to Fisher. Giving ground. Vandermeer's chasing him. Did well in the end. Got it to Stevens that bubbles on his chest. Hanson Jr. now with the footy. Plays on. Zerha. Stevens. Kick inside 50. Larkey's at the front, but at the back reading it a lot better. It was O'Donnell who plays on quickly. Bramble, and they come near side. And with the football, McNeil.
It's like the old school round the world drill here at the moment. Training-wise, it's going from one end to the other, just around the boundary. Both sides trying to pierce it back through the middle, but being relatively defended well.
Almost like Jesse Hogan stuttering in to shoot for goal there, McNeil. Tosses it up to the wing. Sherry made his presence felt. Power pounced it in excellent form last week with 2 goals. This guy's just an out-and-out start. Luke Davies-Uniacke. Oh, to Comben. Faulty kick this time to compound the early error. Dogs scramble all over it. West plays it back McNeil. Forward handball to Richard. Spells danger. Flying through the middle. Fraser, long. Vandermeer should and does. Takes the mark and probably should get an escort to the goal.
I thought maybe 50 metres.
No, apparently not.
You can see there's just another error from North Melbourne. It was the missed kick from Comben went over Fisher's head. And the Bulldogs are prying on that at the moment and went straight through the middle of the ground.
And with a 50-50 record so far this year in front of goal. Shouldn't make a mistake from there, and Julie pops it through for the Bulldogs' 4th. Feasting off the Kangaroos' errors. 4 straight to 2-2.
Yeah, it's all off turnover at the moment. One-step kick over the top. And even with the fumble from Waitman, they're still able to work this out. The Bulldogs, you can see them all streaming forward off the back of understanding Richards was going to win it. And Vandermeer uncontested in the goal square. Archer just making him earn it, living up to the name, not accepting an easy opportunity for his opponent.
It's 2 goals now from turnover for the Bulldogs. Also centre bounce at the moment, 2 goals as well, with Rory Lobb taking the early part of this quarter in the ruck. Now the second rucks have come in, Teagle versus Darcy.
That bounce favouring Darcy, who won it down. Gallagher scrapping for it. Teakle on hands and knees. Wardlaw's in there, going nowhere.
Surprised they went with Rory Lobb, Jono. I thought Sam Darcy would open up.
Would have started, yeah. I think that was the way we were sort of all thinking it may have occurred. I think with the matchups down back for the Bulldogs, it allowed them to have that flexibility with Lobb today.
Vandermeer in the action. Locked up again. So Darcy tries to manufactures something to himself, but in the end, Liberatore snapped round the body. So 50 heavy collision there. Falls out the back. Dawson under pressure. Spills loose. Fisher picks it up. He's under pressure. Handball to Core. Back to Dawson. Sold some candy. Beat one. Got it over to Archer. Handball to Fisher. He's under the pump. Dawson in the phone booth. Inboard he goes. They get away with it here. Shields, Wardlaw, Simpkin in the middle. There's some space now for the Roos. Simpkin has a bounce. Thought about a second. Chips it inside 50. And Hanson Jr. has it.
If he gets this, get to Comben, North Melbourne.
Straight up Comben though, wasn't he?
He was up, and that was so courageous going back with the flight, the way that he did then. Jamari Ugle-Hagan on the lead. And it was a contest from both players. I thought it was a very good contest from both players.
Wow.
And he's up. Having a look on replay, though, there may be an assessment that Doctor is out to him now.
He's kicked 2 goals in his career, fledgling career. Hanson Jr. flirts with that left goal post and misses, and you can see a little bit of disappointment as the big fella gets back up, ready to play on.
Yeah, I was watching him off ball, and he got up
straight away. Yeah, straight up.
It's amazing given how heavy the hit was. Good possession footy for the Bulldogs. They've worked away. Gerard Frazier. This Bale has been
wants it. He gets it
by 4, but he escapes and does get it. Kept it low, perfectly delivered for Norton. And on the turn, into the pocket, Waitman. He got the early jump. Fisher defended pretty well. Waitman 3 goals last time against the Kangaroos.
A little bit too easy at the moment for North Melbourne's defence. The Bulldogs are moving it nicely up the ground.
Teagle comes to join Darcy in the ruck.
North Melbourne doctors just having a look at that vision on the sidelines, that very heavy hit on Charlie Comben.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, Sarah. Keep an eye on them, keeping an eye on that. Dawson, as the Roos come away. Oh, decides to have a bounce. Not certain he had that luxury, but why not a second? Maybe that's why not, although the uncertainty of the bounce in the end favours Larky, and they've worked their way all the way up to the wing. Tickle involved. And now Zerha, the kick into 50, all important. One-on-one, Dale has to defend. Staunchly Tucker, who is his man today. It was a good scrap, wasn't it? Almost all the way to the line.
We've seen some great one-on-one battles in this first quarter, and that's one of them right there again.
It was the right option going inside. He had Nick Larky short, but that Liam Jones has shut that down.
Condon's coming off here.
Darcy diffuses the situation, goes through for a behind, and Cobban obviously in a bit of a world of hurt at the moment.
I think it might be a leg injury as well to go with it, because when he did pop up, he was grabbing at his leg as well.
Trelaw using Frazier, has some good pace. And then his kick, a darting ball, almost cut off by Powell. Then McNeil came charging through inside 50, Bontempelli.
All the Bulldogs players, all the Bulldogs forwards have got ahead of the ball there and the goal side of their opponents. And just that breakdown across centre forward there. Nearly had the intercept, but when you go to the ground like that, it actually leaves players free. So the Bulldogs had 3 players free down, were able to run it forward. So the game's opening right up at the moment. It's probably not what North Melbourne want.
So some great delivery from the 22-year-old Lachlan McNeil. There's Bontempelli, that's his assignments. And it's going to be close. He slaps it into the woodwork. Of course, Comben, we've watched him, but Ugle-Hagan also involved in that collision, boys, and just a little niggle in that shoulder, we believe.
It was a big contest. It's no surprise that both of them are feeling it.
Fisher for Scott. Tickle in the wrestle. Here's Duray, a little opening channel to handball. Liberatore just tucks the kick. Awkward bounce, brilliantly handled by Gallagher, and then return from Trelaw. It's almost a reflex trip there. Trelaw's still on the ground as Daniel getting a full game today. Back to Duray. Carnes with a rare venture forward these days. Back to the back line.
Jono, that's your job.
No, that's a disaster. That's where it opens up for the Bulldogs. An opportunity you're talking about. You talked about Ed Richards earlier in this game, and you spoke to Bevo about the execution going inside forward 50 in the pre-game, Jack, and that flows onto those 2 examples there, Ed Richards and Karmas.
Dawson's high ball to the congestion. Jones off hands, Trelaw. Curtis scrapping for it. Trelaw wants it. Teagle. Flowing lock's not there anymore. Sherry, Curtis wrapped up. Free kick goes to Curtis, and that's a misguided kick. Bontempelli was there. Bad man to kick it to. Gallagher's kick inside 50. 1-on-1. West coming through was North. And the fend off. The snap. The goal. The fist pump.
So it's another error from North Melbourne, trying to go into corridor. So what they're trying to do is spot on. It's just execution of skill that has let them down in this first quarter. So that's where they've been exposed by the Bulldogs on turnover. And again here, with the way that they're set up, protecting corridor for that turnover, it's not a great kick going inside forward 50. They have to hustle for this, the Bulldogs, but it was just strength of Norton there to push off and go.
Marcus Bontempelli is just tracking the middle of the ground at the moment. He was the one that was in that position with the kick that missed Wardlaw, but he's just coming up and down the ground, predominantly sort of mid-forward, and placing himself there so that when he does that, he's there for defence, but he's also there for offence. At the moment, North Melbourne's kicking back through the middle has been deplorable and creates those turnovers, and you've got Bontempelli sitting right there. It's very damaging.
Dogs out to a 15-point margin. Bontempelli, ball in hand, crashed into the turf. So already Miles Bergman warming up as the sub. Played last week. Lob reaches over. Simpkin. First it was Richards, then Liberatore providing the block and the tackle. Scott, scrambled ball. They all here laterally. Oh, Ford had a good look. He went springing off the chest. Curtis clamped immediately.
I think they might have been holding the ball. As soon as you go to fend off, that's an opportunity.
It goes Sherry only as far as Liberatore. Almost a throw. McNeil got rid of it in time. Stevens driven by Trelaw. It'll be a stoppage.
Uncontested mark starting to creep up for the Bulldogs at the moment. 28-16, so there's a watch for North Melbourne.
Sherry. Stevens, hurried one, centering ball. They went in hard. It's come out to Karmas. Oh, he was looking for Daniel, but Scott was right there, the 100 gamer.
North Melbourne sliding ball.
Larkey in trouble now.
Pry on turnover. Nick Larkey hobbling off the ground there. It was another big collision. This one was sort of lower to the ground. This sort of, those ones where you find yourself sliding in. Wow.
Yeah, his knee on knee.
Good defence there from Scott.
100 gamer. Scott makes no mistake. And celebrates, and rightly so.
Yeah, 100 good games for North Melbourne. Bailey Scott is really consistent now. You know what you get from Bailey Scott every single week that he pulls on the jumper from North Melbourne. And defensively, he's always had that strength in his game. It's evident right here where he doesn't give up on the chase. It's a ball kick out from Karmas, and this time it's North Melbourne who are able to capitalise on a poor skill error from the Western Bulldogs.
Hasn't missed a game since round 16, 2022. Bailey Scott, Mr. Consistency, underrated footballer. Sarah, down to you.
Nick Larkey getting his knee assessed on the boundary, which is obviously a concern. Charlie Comden still down in the rooms. Now, there's some confusion about whether it is a concussion assessment or a lower leg injury. He was heard saying calf as he came off the ground. So the club is getting back to us with an official word, but regardless, it looks like Miller Bergman is set to be injected into the game.
Wow, 4 minutes remaining in this opening term. Kangaroos fighting hard to stay in it. Liberatore, Norton got clear. Well done, though. Right, Dawson, good diligence back there for the Roos. Awkward one for Hanson Jr. Help from the experience there. William Shields, the ball moved quickly to the outside again. And McDonald pretty well in the end to get it over safely.
Just sort of referring pressure at the moment, North Melbourne. Just sort of half handballs that don't have any sort of power on them. Just the next person's got to deal with the problem. We know that Adelaide were able to break the tackle of the Bulldogs. I'd love to see North Melbourne just take the tackle on, put the ball under your arm and try and break through a tackle and create something.
Well, Bergman, his 16th game. Brother of Miles, of course. Trelaw feeding it back to Waitman, turned instinctively onto the left boot towards the top of the square. Fisher was not quite sure where he could kick that to safely. Fell for Richards, already has a goal. Puts the head down to Darcy, to Trelaw. They still search. Waitman's the man. He's the man to get the shot for goal. And unfortunately, he's curled it a little too far. And after being deadly accurate at the start of the year, he's been another bit of a culprit lately.
What a great kick there from Zach Fisher. I'm not sure whether you want to be king at 30 metres along the ground in your own set of goals.
McKercher and Fisher combining. Comes out to McDonald outside defensive 50. Long ball looking for Curtis in a wrestle. McDonald did well.
Worrying signs for North Melbourne is Common's been the one they've thrown forward at certain times this year to play key forward. Now Nick Larkey's injured and obviously Common's down in the room, so there's some players that you would not want to be sitting on the bench injured. Those two are right up there.
They did go in relatively tall. They went in with 3 defenders and 3 forwards today, so not ideal, obviously, Jack, but at least they do have some stock still out there.
Liberatore hit the pack hard, got a free kick. A bit of a wry smile about it. Tough as teak. Kicks inside 50. Sherry waits. As I mentioned, brought his own Sharon last week. Talking possible All-Australian ruck spot for him. Simkin. Short ball for Scott. Met by Liberatore, but Scott held his ground.
Stood up well under that.
Important final 2 minutes of the quarter for North Melbourne. As Scott kicks to Jones.
That's a good mark from
mark in flight.
It was because Rory Lobb was flying back with the flight of the ball with speed.
The main danger was taking out his teammate in some ways. Calmers from O'Donnell, and ultimately it's Williams with the decision as to where to go as they move forward. Hard lead from Vandermeer, ignored. Longer down the line to Richards and Norton. McDonald is playing on Norton now because of the injury. He did well. He left his man, but means that Norton is waiting. If the Dogs can get their hands on the footy, they can't. McKercher to LDU, quickly through Archer to Simpkin, emerging forward of the centre. Curtis trying to get Jones out of the way. All he could do is tap it back in the path with Calmers. Curtis comes again. Calmers gets it to his desired destination without infraction.
When North Melbourne get their shape around the contest, well, especially in the middle of the ground, they use it effectively. They're so dangerous in this first quarter moving forward with the ball.
Lobb and Sherry. Sherry tried to catch it out of midair, stolen by Liberatore. Trundling ball. It's going to work. Ugle-Hagen. They work it through the middle. Waitman's kick just slewed off the side of the boot. Plenty of time, though, for Vandermeer in open space. And then a long barrelling kick towards Norton, who's got 2 to beat, but he's in the right spot at the front.
He had to make a decision there, Vandermeer, whether he was going to go to Norton. Had a couple of North Melbourne defenders there. McDonald was sitting in front. And he sort of hesitated and then pulled the trigger. It was a fantastic kick. And as good as the kicker was, it was an unbelievable mark there by Aaron Norton.
See that little bit of strapping. There's been that knee niggle. Little question mark during the week, but he's already kicked one today. This time a set shot. And squeezes it out to the left.
He dropped that one outside the line there, Aaron Norton. With a half kick as well.
Just a little bit of a taste in the mouth heading to quarter time. Nonetheless, the Dogs lead by 11. Keeps it in, O'Donnell, but the siren sounds. So the Western Bulldogs, their main aim is just to get the W today. They've had a pretty good start. Unfortunately for North Melbourne, they've lost 1 and maybe 2 soldiers. Time will tell. We'll take a break. Huge Sunday ticket on Fox Footy. It's the Dogs by 11.
All right, quarter time here, folks, at Marvel Stadium, and it's the Dogs doing it pretty well. 5-2-32 leading North Melbourne. 3-4-22 They're giving it a good crack, North Melbourne. They're not a bad side. I'll give them another year or two, and they'll certainly be right up in the mix. But the Dogs doing all they need to, and all they need to do today is to win this game. Tradition is a good thing, particularly in these PC times. It certainly is. You know, I think if it wasn't for the MCG, I think they got the rights for the next 100 years or something to have the grand final at the MCG, which is no doubt the best stadium in Australia. You know, they could go the next route, which would be to go state by state to have a grand final. You know, so like a round robin. You know, so this year they have it in Melbourne, next year Sydney, then Adelaide, Perth, Brisbane, you know, that type of thing. But I think the other thing also is, are the stadiums good enough in the particular states? Will they hold enough crowd? Because, you know, for the AFL, it's all about the dollars as well. Whereas the MCG, that can fit in 100,000. Most other stadiums can't, apart from, I think, the one in Sydney. But you're just so far away from the action, I think, on that ground. I forget what you call that ground up there. You got the MMA now. So ridiculous. We've got money supporting violent thugs, blood sport causes. It's loot. I don't know. That's just a crazy. I don't even know how they call that a sport, but pretty much everyone gets knocked out in that. It's not really good. Not really good. This is what's happening. This is what's happening on the ladder. Let me just show you the ladder at the moment. The Western Bulldogs, 48 points. They're sitting 7th. They need a win today. We've got 3 games left for today and one more week of the home and away season. There are the Dogs, 48 points. They're playing North Melbourne. Well, for North Melbourne, they're playing for their pride today. That's what it all comes down to. The wooden spoon's out of the equation, I would think, because Richmond are playing the Hawks, and I think Richmond might get smacked by about 100 today by the Hawks. So it's all about the Western Bulldogs. We turn on the live ladder. They'll jump up to 52 points, exactly what they need. And of course, they still need to win next week to secure a spot in the top 8 to be guaranteed. Anything could happen. Learn Bottle, how you going? Do you like Fruit Loops or Cheerios? I tell you what, they're both all right, aren't they? They're both all right. Fruit Loops aren't too bad, but geez, they're sweet. Cheerios, they're not too bad. I used to have those. Not too bad at all. So the Western Bulldogs, they're going well. So if we just happen to turn this off, we just happen to turn the live ladder off, and the Western Bulldogs actually lost today. Hawthorn Carlton win today. Western Bulldogs would be out of the 8. That's why it's important for the Bulldogs to win this game. My favourite is Collingwood. And what is your team? My team is also Collingwood. We had a great victory yesterday. It was an exciting game. That was fantastic. I covered that one yesterday, the Brisbane Collingwood game. And tell you what, we were pretty excited to see the Magpies get up there. Still a little chance to make the finals if all goes well, but we need everything. Hawks must lose. Carlton must lose, and that's why we're hoping for North Melbourne to win. So we can, the more chances we've got, the better. But you know, I think it'll be pretty much decided after today whether we can make it or not. But I think possibly not. But that's okay. Hey, Sniper, what's up? What's going on, Squire? Hey, Brian, thanks for coming in. Good on you, Chris, for coming in, brother. Good stuff. Bella was in the house as well. Just have a quick glance at the disposal getter. Zach Fisher on 11. He's had a great quarter with Bailey Scott on 11. Doria on 8. There we go. Let me just run through these. Liberatore on 6, the little fella. Bit of a star. Adam Treloar, a little bit quiet. That first quarter was 6. Nick Lakey on 5. I'll just run down them if anyone's taking notes of who's got. He's going to be a good player. Jackson Archer, he's a pretty good player for North Melbourne. I think give him a season or two. I think he's going to be a little bit like his father, Glenn Archer. He's a tough nut. He loves the game. I think he'll be all right in another season or two. Marcus Bontempelli, the Bont, him being a little bit quiet. Just the 4 touches. I'm sure he'll fire up at some stage. The superstar from the Western Bulldogs, just with the 4 touches there. Ugelhagen, Just with the 2 touches, 1 kick, 1 handball, but he snagged a goal there for the Doggies. Let me just roll that back up there. Let me just have a look at the goal scorers. All single goal scorers. Zera Vandermeer, Ugelhagen, Scott, Richards, Norton, Lakey and Darcy are the goal scorers. There we go. Now, who was the first goal scorer of the game? It was Nick Larkey. Nick Larkey was the first goal scorer of the game, folks. So there we go. I should put that in, shouldn't I? First goal scorer. All right, I think we're just about back. So we're going to take you back to the commentators. Thanks everyone for coming in. Let's enjoy the second quarter here, whereas the Dogs by 11 points.
Won their last 6 against the Roos. Roos with a quick fire start. Bulldogs settled the ship midway through that term. They lead by 11 as we kick off the second quarter. Sherry and Lob. Lock horns.
Holding Bontempelli.
There you go. Bontempelli with the free kick. The Bonts looks further afield. Ugelhagen gave him plenty of space to run into.
Well, it's made a better use inside 50. That there was an absolute dart from Marcus Bontempelli. Knew exactly where Jamari Ugelhagen was leading to and just had to slide down in his knees and take the easiest of chest marks here.
His accuracy at Marvel Stadium this year, 45%, exactly the same as last year. He's averaging 2-1 for the season. It just never looked likely.
There's another one too that sort of just drifts out a little bit to the left. As soon as you're out there, you've got to try and recreate whether you're going to kick it straight or how you're trying to get your ball drop going as well.
40 goals, 32 with 24 misses coming in today for the season, Jamara.
Just wouldn't want that to be the reason that they don't get the finals, but when they get the finals, it's such an important asset to have.
Couldn't agree more, Jack. It's so important.
Pow. The clump on the wing. Sherry almost dragged it down. And that is a questionable disposal. Now there's no question.
Yeah, good pressure from North Melbourne. Both sides' pressure has been very good in the first quarter of this game. Started well here, North Melbourne as well, winning the ball back. Now they've got to use it well from this position.
Wardlaw, typical fashion, kicks up to the wing.
Just popped it though.
Yeah, it wasn't a great
He was looking inside. There was just nothing inside for him to be able to hit up, and then obviously the confidence to do it as well with their turnovers in that first quarter.
Full recovery from concussion, been out for a couple of weeks. Club saying he was pretty good. Really only felt any sort of repercussions for a couple of days. The handball slightly, Eric Bontempelli all over it, but Powell turns the tables and then turns his body and is penalised.
I agree, Jack. He won possession and was tackled immediately.
Maybe did a 360, that's what they might have pinned him for.
Yeah, to Bontempelli and they load up again. Norton, can he get access to the footy? Archer says no.
Well done by Aaron Call there. Such a precarious position when you want to protect your man coming back to take the mark, not to give away the free kick. Still got to remain contacted to your opponent, but also with an eye on the ball.
Archer pokes it high. It's a junior pushed underneath of it and Lob.
Bit of end-to-end here at the moment.
So Lob, look where it came from, over the head of Norton. It bobbles around volleyball style. And it comes out to Core, who just dumps it on the boots. And it's going to come back to Lob. So it is a bit kick to kick, isn't it?
In the right spot though, Rory Lobb. It's too little just falling straight in his lap. And a little bit high up, be strong under the ball.
World of the football, no leads at the moment. Plenty of players in the goal square.
Can launch it, Rory Lobb.
Lob will be from 58, but he's poked it to the pocket. And he's kicked it to Stevens as if he was the teammate.
It was exactly like that, wasn't it? He's come away through Davies Uniac now to Zerha. He has considered every option.
Wow, I just
more than
felt the
once.
most amazing.
It felt like there before choosing the co-captain. McDonald to McKercher. Still they're in the defensive arc. Now they're out. Back to McDonald again.
See every time North Melbourne takes an under-contested mark, they're scanning the middle of the ground, trying to find the little piercing kick. So clearly still going for it.
Forced to submit, kicks down the line. Jones in front of Larkey, drifts to the front in the end. Does the big kangaroo, and he's got it. He couldn't quite bound away. Richards took a while to pick it up, but when he did, delivered it sharply to Fraser, who just thumps it high. Almost roof height. There's a whistle there for in the back. Taken anyway by McDonald. Again, he quickly glanced to the middle, but before playing it back to Archer.
It's going out to Bergman. Sabdon. Got a man short. Stevens. Fair to say the first 5 or 6 minutes of this is not going down in the annals of great football. Stevens to the congestion on the wing. Jones with the fist. Trelaw first to meet it. Got it to Fraser. Does the 360. Got it to Liberatore. Over the top. Richards under the pump. Did it well. McNeil from 51 metres. Spots Bontempelli further afield. Doing well. Call. It trundles out.
Depends what fights you go. Well, I think fights you go in the modern game. If you like it, kicking back at each other and just getting intercept marks.
Chop of the arm there on the bottom. I think the play just outworked the umpire. There was no umpire in position to be able to call or see that chop of the arm.
Sorry, the tap, but the bunt was there. Just sort of the acrobatics from the boundary umpire there, right? Straddling the behind post. You think Matt's coming back a bit grumpy from Paris?
Oh, yeah, still a little bit of sleep deprivation. Been drinking in that Seine water, did you?
No, I did, and stayed well away from it. So McKercher. Oh, now. A little bit of an error from Archer puts his teammates under all sorts of pressure. McDonald comes in, ruffles the hair and says, "Don't worry about it, young man." And an opportunity now for the Dogs. Bonton Sherry. Ball's out of the hands of Bontempelli. Shields McDonald. Hacks a kick outside 50. O'Donnell had to be careful, didn't come off his knees. In fact, it did come off his knee. Out of bounds on the full.
Oh, he doesn't know it. I think he's saying it's off North Melbourne, the boundary umpire.
Wow. Let's have a look here.
Exactly. Let's have a look. Oh, yes.
It was. Well, that's a good call.
Great
That's
call.
a very good call off the boot of Curtis. So, kick to the top of the square. Norton just nudged out. Gallagher overruns it, picks it up. McNeil round the body and offline.
Saw this yesterday early in the Brisbane game, just missed opportunities. Brisbane should have been further ahead at quarter time. He just wouldn't want the Bulldogs to continue to miss, and the pressure builds, and all of a sudden North Melbourne is still in the game where the Bulldogs have dominated.
McKercher delays the release, just softened the kick for Zerha. Floats in nicely to take the mark. And it will be a slow play now. Wardlaw calling for it in the middle. That's rather ambitious, given how many Bulldogs are framed up in front of him. Zerha takes what's on offer, which is long to Larkey or Sherry. Jones is there as the disruptor. Now Powell had to turn the body. Nick did. Out to McKercher, Davies Uniac and Zerha. A walk ball inside 50. Could go either way. McNeil, boundless energy, wins it. Plays it to Jones. And then to Fraser. Reasonably spaced ahead, but the Kangaroos have most of the defensive bases covered, so he just takes off, kicks as long as he can for either West or Darcy. They looked at each other. And the volley grabbed in the end after the bounce by Trelaw. Daniels just come off the bench. Whacked towards Wardlaw. Forward handball. Promising. Tucker on the advance. The Roos low and into the channel. Karma spoils Larkey and did it really well. And now Jones with the handball away to Gallagher. Wardlaw keeps at it though. Gets the kick again, and again it's going to come out.
That was great defending there by Riku Thomas. Just had to go with Nick Larkey and got a fist in exactly the right time because the kick was on.
Fraser topping the disposal tally for the Dogs at the moment with 12. So Daniel hucks the boundary line. Darting ball. Darcy. Daniel. Norton. Race out. Too far out to score. Vandermeer runs on by. Norton to the square, lob at the front, Bontempelli at the back, McNeil with the crumbs, can he try and get his boot to it? No, he can't, he was taken to ground and holding it.
Just didn't get enough out of that inside 50 from on there from Aaron Norton. Had the opportunity to be a bit smarter and use the ball a little bit shorter.
Tucker with the football at half-back for North.
Does open up some possibilities. That was a little awkward, but Power returns the handball, and eventually McKercher. They're inviting the pressure. Bergman didn't panic, did well to Power. You can hear the Kangaroos fans as Fisher turns onto the left. Expectations rise. Curtison forward, but Jones, there's a whistle, and there's a block, and there's a free. And there's a mumble from the coach, and a rumble around Marvel.
Still to see from North Melbourne's point of view, just sort of referring pressure a lot through the middle part of the ground there. Had the ability to finally get it out and get it forward, but you don't want to give opportunities to the Bulldogs to turn it over in the middle part.
15-10 for the year for Eddie Ford. 1 goal, 1 last week. He's kicked 5 goals in his last 9 games. Has dried up a little bit, but you can see what's ahead of him there. Unfortunately, we've seen a bit too much of that so far from both teams.
Yeah, lets the Bulldogs off the hook there. Is Eddie Ford. He's got some talent. You're right, Hutto. He had a really hot patch there mid part of the season.
Dale Richards goes for a jog. And a piercing ball into the middle of the ground where Norton was right there. So Norton up the ground. Calls for his troops. Wide ball, Darcy, and a fair bit of it. Juggling mark.
He set up to take that mark was brilliant. Then Sam Darcy, the big strides. Knew he had Aiden Paul. The kick was perfect.
Important lead by McNeil in front of him as well, because McNeil started to lead back into the space that Darcy wanted to come into, but then finally led up at Aaron Norton. Was potentially out himself, but he created that little vacuum for Darcy to come into.
Well, talked about that 1-5 last week. This will test him. He's up
start to
against the
veer out
fence.
to the right here too, trying to get a bit of extra distance.
So he kicks from right on the chalk. It's going to prop up in the square and off hands.
Yeah, well taken care of by North Melbourne. Get that over the line, start again with McKercher. Been slow with their build-up here, North Melbourne, but it's working. Trying to take control of the ball, build it up slowly.
Still goalless this second term so far. Core spreading it wide. Dawson.
Play on.
Nothing immediate for him, and again might be forced just to go as long as he can. Jones got the early jump, and it was too easy really in the end. It's got a nice mark, but no opposition.
Just lost a little bit of their adventure with the ball, North Melbourne.
It's coming in again to Darcy and Norton. Brilliant take below the knees from Vandermeer. Slowed down, Richards forced back to Trelaw. Finds his bearings, chipped it up for Fraser or Dale. Zerhard does enough in the air. And at ground level, tries to provide the protection for Ford. Now the soccer and the chase. And the chase is still on the wing. Ford off balance, gets set. And handballs down the line to Scott. No shortage of options on the inside. Found one of the more difficult ones for Zerha, and Fraser pounces. It's a Bulldogs way now. Norton to West. You can see what's ahead. Long call from Darcy. Shorter from Waitman or Marcus Bontempelli, but it's Darcy.
Just a separation. Just well called, Hutto, as well. He just absolutely got his arms out on a smaller opponent. Fantastic kick by West as well. Had a couple of players sort of folding back onto Darcy's space again, but again, it was Waitman who led up at the last opportunity to then create the space for Darcy, who just extended the arms. Good luck.
The Bont seemed to be grumpy after that as well. A bit like Matty. He seems like he's a bit disgruntled at the moment.
He's had a couple of one-on-one opportunities, Bont.
So Darcy, Plum in front, should nail this one, and does. Is there any better sight than kicking a goal and looking up and seeing David Roden's smiling face saying, yep.
We had a good chat to David Roden pre-game. We might see the Pearly Whites at some point this afternoon. But it's off turnover again, and it's just a kicking board. And the Bulldogs are able to clean that up. It's a poor kick by Scott along the ground. And then they've got time and space forward of the ball. We've seen this a number of times from North Melbourne with that turnover. And defensively, they're just on a hustle, getting back, trying to do their very best. But with the Bulldogs having time and space, it's nearly impossible to defend. West knew exactly where he wanted to put that. He controls Darcy into that space. Beautiful kick.
It's funny how he got a little bit closer in there and having that shot and actually didn't have the view right. So sometimes it's actually just, Nick Larkey's a really good example of it, just get it to just over the goal umpire. So that's all you need to do.
First six-pointer for the quarter. Darcy and Teagle. There's going to be a free kick. He's going to the Dogs.
Oh, they were out North Melbourne. They've been beaten quite badly in centre bounce. That was an opportunity for them to exit.
Gallagher bites off a little bit more than he can chew, but he got away with it with a long ball to Hugo Hagen. Play continued, but umpire O'Gorman staunch in paying the mark.
That was quick feet through the middle there by Gallagher. I didn't know whether he had that in his kit bag. Just took off and took on a couple of the quicker North Melbourne players as well. And then good protection there from Aaron Norton.
Going for his second this afternoon, Hugo Hagen, and pops it through. Lead extends out now.
Well, the free kick against the centre bounce. North Melbourne were out. They give away the free kick. Gallagher called the play on. He had the wheels to get around and get some space and then get some distance on the kick as well. He was going to be caught by Hanson Jr. to advantage. Beautiful kick.
Jordan Riley Westwork there in that footage we just saw. His ability, he's just zipping around at the moment and creating confusion by putting on a block. But that there is the third goal from centre bounce for the Bulldogs.
Yeah,
worrying signs.
Worrying signs. In the middle.
That's North Melbourne's go-to as well with Cherry and what he can produce in their gun mids that they do have in this team.
2 goals to Hugo Hagen, 2 goals to Darcy. That's the margin at the moment, the 4 goals between them. Gallagher, another centre clearance, and Hugo Hagen again. Just came a bit firm, but he may have drawn. It's a arm shot.
Very unhappy with that being paid.
Dawson's not.
This will be a good watch because this one's just a little bit further out. You can see that arm on the shoulder there. This one's just a little bit further out. Now, Jamara just doesn't need to hit this as hard as possible. The last set shot was a beautiful kick and that still went 50 metres, so needs to replicate that.
Just under 50-50 with the set shot so far this year. He kicked the last one, he misses this.
I feel like North Melbourne are really missing Harry Sheasel. It's been that polish today that's let them down and given the Bulldogs opportunity to score from turnover, and that's Harry Sheasel's one-wood, using the ball through the middle of the ground and off half-back.
So Fisher goes for a gallop. Long ball out, but reading it was Darcy all over it.
So good in the air, isn't he, Sam Darcy?
Isn't it?
His timing is just elite.
Centering ball, Norton set himself, couldn't quite grasp it, goes to grounds. Daniels in there, ball going nowhere, a stoppage in front of goal.
It's going to be fascinating, Jack, who ends up being, not that it matters, the better player out of Darcy and Hugo Hagen. They've got such great talent up there.
I'm pretty sure I just saw Sam Darcy whack one inside 50 on his left, and he's a right footer, isn't he, John?
Yes, he is.
Just clearing that up.
So in the ruck, pads it down towards Liberatore, no space for him, back to Treloar, and then McNeil using Treloar, runs right around Fraser. McNeil had a bit of time to look at the post, although he sets it up, and floating across was Hugo Hagen, and he'll have another attempt this time for his third.
Well, he was floating across. Looked like Aaron Norton was in a position to mark that as well. It's just weight of numbers going inside forward 50. The repeat entries and the tours for the Bulldogs are really starting to get on top here.
It's the old Paso, isn't it? Well, why don't you have both? Don't have to have one, you can have both.
Opportunity to run better than he's averaged this year. Point blank. And through it goes. Over 5 goals, the margin now.
Going for a big haul and he can kick straight this afternoon.
His timing is really good at the moment, Jamara, as well. Just that, this here, the ability to float across, and I reckon it's the weapon in the Bulldogs. When you play 3 keys, you have to know when it's your opportunity to fly and when it's your opportunity to hold. And if they hold correctly and allow the person to cover on the side, we've seen Darcy do it, we've seen Jamara do it a couple of times, and we know that Norton can do it. It actually provides this little gap and laneway for a key forward to come across and take a mark nearly uncontested there.
North Melbourne need to get their centre bounce right now, Jack. This is part of the growth of them as a team, is discussing it, working it out, what's working, what's not, so they can restrict what the Bulldogs are trying to do.
They told Wardlaw at the last moment there to make sure he does get forward of a tap, which allows him to win the ball. Powell has to go back to the ruckman. Sherry fires out a handball. Wardlaw was looking for the run. Instead, he kicks. It was a choice kick in the end. And delivered well for Ford. On the cusp here, just outside 50. Teakle and Larkey and Zerha are all back there. Bramble, who's the deepest out of all of that, somehow they got through all the hands.
Rory Love's been good in the ruck today. You can see that defensive mindset that's been built into him about playing in the back half of this year. Just put himself in the right spot there. Tristan Sherry's got to make him accountable.
Go at it in the ruck. Sherry able to break clear, grab it. What to do with it next? Defend. That's an excellent look.
I've given that one a few times, don't worry.
I believe him. I didn't necessarily believe you.
And you're rightly so.
We'll have a look.
I was an honest player.
He had both hands on the ball. How has he fended off then?
Williams, Daniel, Vandermeer wants to get on with it quickly and does so. Darcy, was there an infringement? Yes.
Dawson. Yeah, Darcy was trying to get the separation and just got his hand caught on the shoulder of Dawson.
So Dawson combining with Core and Fisher in the back line. Fisher goes short as well. McKercher back to Fisher with some great toe along the boundary. Down the line he goes. Larkey harassed out of it by Karmas. Teakle, the touch of the fumbles. Up against the boundary line. Zerha back to Larkey. Threw him under the bus. And it's going to be a throw in.
Big tackle by Taylor Duray there. Big tackle. They were out through the skinny part of the ground. Zerha was looking to get that handball back, but
3 goals to none for the quarter. 3-4 to 1 behind, in fact. Chalor with the smart hands, but pinched. Luke Davies Jr. to McKercher. He delayed too long. The gift to tackle appeared to be there. Something stopped him. Let's hope he's okay. Switches made.
It's just a bit proppy at the moment. Watching him off the ball. Fraser, Bontempelli. Long ball. We've got some numbers here. Dale could have used West. Goes himself and misses.
We'd love to see someone come at the ball there. Both Ugle, Hagan and Darcy were calling for it out the back, and that's where you need someone coming up at the ball. That's how you increase your score efficiency going inside 50. Easy sort of 15, 20-metre leads. They give you a chance to, one, settle down and have a set shot.
Body work from Locke doesn't quite complete the project. Chalor to Daniel and then to Duray. Stevens a handy smother. Libba was onto it. Bontempelli threatening. There's 3 roos in his way. Libba lends a hand, and a telling hand it was. Daniel about to connect with Darcy's lead, but he goes long. Thumps it to the square, drifting in Dale. Flying high was West. Gallagher. Bergman shuffles it through.
You're right with Darcy. The lead was spot on from Darcy, but as he led, Caleb Daniel decided to take the bounce.
Yeah,
so he looked
good.
down and missed that opportunity to hit up the big forward 15 metres away, which is exactly what you're talking about, Jack. Just that easy one to get a set shot.
Fisher's kick floating over the head of McDonald.
That's a bit about cohesion. Yeah, a bit about cohesion for the Bulldogs going forward, because Darcy went back again. I want to see him starting to get to the front, use that frame to actually start to nearly post up. And it's only a 1 or 2 step lead into the mark.
Lobb caught at the back, just won it down. Simpkin trundled it forward. Daniel hit it hard, had nowhere to go and walks it out.
And just popped up to the
He
wrong
did,
time.
he did well. He did well. I mean, that's a tough ball.
Straight onto the chin. He won't be folding any towels.
Tough ball to attack.
Throw in. Sherry. Down to Stevens, who went without it. Davies-Uniacke looking for Stevens. They gave ground. Treloar pushes it forward about 20 metres. Gallagher taken high. Gets the free kick.
Tough by Gallagher there. Needed to put his body on the line with Core coming back the other way. A bigger man. Earned the free kick.
He's had a good quarter, Gallagher. He's done some nice work in the middle of the ground. A bit more time for his centre bounce, playing midfield minutes.
He's been mostly wing up until now, hasn't he?
Closing on to 6 for the quarter.
Decent year as well, playing 17 of the matches this year. So Gallagher's kick, and that will be lucky to register a score. It just does, as the blood pressure of B. Johnson just goes up a little.
This is where it builds. Someone misses an easy one, and all of a sudden starts to put on another player's mind.
It's 10 scores to 1 for the quarter, but only 3 goals out of that. Jones had a bit of a rest for quite a while. Back out there, entangled with Larkey. Darcy tries to tackle Bontempelli, released Williams to the square. Ugle-Hagan. That was crashed and capsized. Back at it. Able from Wardlaw was effective. Stevens and Simpkin. Oh, Libber. It was a fraction taller. He could have reeled it in, but he's done very well to lock it away for a throw-in.
They'll set this up here, the Bulldogs. Riley West is normally busy in these scenarios as well. Forward stoppages. Got their gun mids in there as well. Treloar, Liberatore and Bontempelli.
Sherry grabbed it, wasn't quite sure what to do next. The scramble and the follow-on. Davies-Uniacke. Same issue for him. So many bodies and numbers around the footy. Hard to win and even harder to get a meaningful possession. All locked up again. Bontempelli was on the move. Jarred out to Davies-Uniacke. Lob has a crack. Liberatore. Good luck all. High. That's the way to break it up.
Yeah, but an aim caught. Had to put his head down over the ball. He wins the free kick.
Toiling hard as always. Core to McKercher to Fisher. So hesitance. Nothing doing further afield. Dawson's done some good things in this first half. So again, just bereft of options at the moment, called to play on, so he just kicks it long. It was the only option in the end. Zerha set himself through his fingertips. Karmas is going to be the first to the football. Back to Treloar. Treloar with some time into the middle. Williams had Scott Baring down on him, held his ground. Daniel spreads it wider. West is all on his lonesome out there. Too far out to score, in towards the pockets, and raking it in again is Darcy. Well, he's terrific overhead, but that was clever with the one hand.
Yeah, it was. It was good hit up by Riley West. It's like a pop-up sprinkler. He's out of nowhere. I think even Caleb Daniel was surprised to see Riley West all by himself at half forward with no one around. A little bit skinny corridor with the kick, but Darcy was good enough.
It's a real
take the grab.
Real shootout now. Ugle-Hagan 3 goals, 1. Darcy 2 straight so far.
So the deliberate approach. Can he get the 3? He can. The shootout continues.
It was like the Dogs needed that one because they've missed some opportunities prior to Sam Darcy getting that opportunity and nailing it. But it's off half-back again. They create the turnover, the Bulldogs. Their run from this position has been very good this entire first half. Over the top, you can see Riley West all by himself, room to move, and when he's had that in this second quarter, he's used it effectively. He's brought Sam Darcy into the contest a couple of times now for direct goal assists.
Bulldogs lead 41 points. They can finish as high as 4th. But Geelong, Brisbane and Freo all lose next week, or as low as 11th if they happen to lose today and next week. Very unlikely now. 1 win and they could still miss the 8 if they lose next week, but they could very well make it. There's a lot of ifs, buts and maybes. And that's the scenario. Certainly Dogs fans would be feeling much better now than they would have in the nervous hour leading up to today after what happened last week.
I've got to get my head around that. There was a bit in that, wasn't
Would you
there?
like me to repeat it for Matthew? The ball drips outside. Davy Junak. Scott, he slams it forward. Kangaroos would love a goal, and Larky could be the man. No, the fist of Liam Jones. So often has been the obstacle for forwards that think they're about to take a mark. Pow pounces, and then handball in the delay before the next release. McKercher a couple of times. Forward handball to Simpkin with his back to goal. Not in the best position, really.
Yeah, that's where McKercher has to get. He set up the 1-2 handball perfectly off Cherry. Then he has to kick the ball forward.
So that could be the pivotal corner. It was certainly a dominant one from the Western Bulldogs. They weren't perfect in front of goal, but they won it out of the middle conclusively and on the scoreboard. 4-7 to 1 behind for the quarter, and that means their lead is 41 points. Well, we know the Dogs are on their way to September, and this mob might be as well. And is there anyone more exciting than the Hawks? Not just how they kick the goals, when they kick the goals, but how they celebrate. It's very individual, but what a team to follow. Big game coming up.
Alrighty. Half time here. And the Dogs have opened up a nice handy lead there, 41-point lead, 9-10-64, leading North Melbourne 3-5-23. They got their game going a little bit, found a little bit of space, got their run going, and that certainly showed on the scoreboard. 4 goals, 7 they kicked. I'll tell you what, if they had a kick straight, this could have been a big margin. 4 goals, 7 the Doggies kicked in that quarter to just 1 behind for North Melbourne. Ice Baby, welcome in. How you going, Icy? Icy konnichiwa from Ryan. Good stuff. Doggies midfield firing from Chris. E.T., how you going, Squire? What's happening? What's happening? Just covering another game or two here today. Just while I kick back, relax on a Sunday afternoon with a coffee. It's good stuff. This game was nice and close at quarter time, but it sort of stretched out up to half time. North Melbourne trying hard, but the Doggies bringing the pressure in that second quarter. So I say we'll take you back down to the commentators when they come back. But while we're waiting for them, let's go and have a look at the disposal getters on the ground. And that leading person is McKercher and Fisher there for North Melbourne. Both having pretty good games there, both 19 apiece. Good disposal count, doing their job well. Adam Treloar in for a good game. He's going all right. Tell you what, his form's been pretty good, Adam Treloar, this season. Up to 15 disposals, 4 kicks, 11 handballs. A little bit of the playmaker there. Tom Liberatore, not too bad on 12. Ukanaki, I should say, not ukulele. Up to 12. Tom Powell, 11. Let's keep running through them a little bit there. Who else have we got? Sam Darcy, up to 9. Ed Richards on 9. Keep going down. Let's keep going. Bailey Dale. I think who had the question? Dalton. Is Tucker tagging Bailey Dale? It looked like, I did keep an eye out for them. It did look like they were playing on each other. So the answer would be yes to that question there. Hopefully that helps you out there. Waitman on 7. Luke McDonald with just a 7. Nick Larkey with the 7. Trying hard. Jackson Archer still only just on 7. He's trying hard too. I wonder if they actually throw him into the midfield. That could be worth a little bit of a run to Ugelhagen. Going all right. Looking good when going forward down the Doggies' way with 6 touches, 5 kicks, 1 handball, 3 marks, 3 goals. 3 goals, 1, thank you very much, of his 5 kicks. Dogs in control. That's exactly right, Chris. Dogs are in control in this game. I'd expect to see a little bit of a comeback from North Melbourne. Well, we're hoping so anyway, but I'd expect it. You know, they're not a bad side. They're not a bad side. Thanks, Sniper, for hanging in there. Ugelhagen and the goal scorers here. We're just having a look at the top goal scorers On the ground, of course, the leading one is Ugelhagen and Sam Darcy there for the Dogs, both with 3 goals. Nice, nice start to the first half for those 2 players, getting in the act. And I'll tell you what, they're pretty hard to stop when these 2 players get a roll on, start finding the goals. Xera 1 there for the Kangas. Vedemir has 1. Scott 1, Richards 1, Aaron Norton 1, and Nick Larkey 1. Let's just have a little bit of a look at the fantasy points. Let's just have a look. Zach Fisher, 69. He's leading the table at the moment for the fantasy points. If you play that game, Sam Darcy up to 68. McKercher, 59. Xera, 58. And the rest under. All right, let's go back and listen to some of the commentators, their thoughts, and we'll come back to the team stats.
North Melbourne's turnover, especially through the middle of the ground. Once North Melbourne have tried to get that ball corridor side and haven't kicked it or handballed effectively, the Bulldogs have swarmed on that and used it well to get some opportunities at least in this game.
Let's have a closer look at their forward 50 work, Jack. The tall options down there, they are so blessed. Jamara Ugelhagen, obviously such a focal point, and then Sam Darcy, an emerging star.
He is an emerging star, Sam Darcy, and Hutto asked me upstairs who I think might end up being the better player. Darcy is showing at the moment just the height that he's got and the skill that he's got, that he's a phenomenal player. Now look at the marks inside, disposed inside forward half there. They've also taken 10 marks inside 50, which is a huge amount at halftime here. Now, when you have big fellas up there, you know you're going to get ground balls as well, but there haven't been that many ground balls when this man gets his hands on it as well. This is a little bit fortuitous, Jono, early on, but we've spoken about floating in front of packs. Now, he's only had 9 disposals, but out of those 9, he's had 7 score involvements. We know last week he had 11, was the game high leader in terms of score involvements, but he's picked up where he started last week.
He certainly has, working well with Riley West in that second quarter. 2 direct goal assists for Riley as well, using the ball well inside forward 50. If he gets space, he can do that. Riley and Sam Darcy's reading it. So that combination, like the others down forward, they're combinations for the future as well.
You think one of them is going to have a big game really soon, like a big sort of 6, 7, 8 game where they're having the shots at the moment, but unfortunately, Sarah, they just can't get it straight.
Jono, 9 goals, 10. What's happening?
Yeah, well, that opportunity's missed again, and that's what we keep talking about in terms of what this side is doing leading in to September, because if they get that opportunity to play in September and they get looks like they are again this afternoon, then it's on them to nail them, because
What's the punishment?
that's the difference.
What's the punishment? You're in charge. What's the punishment for missing a goal?
I might have to head down there this week and make up one.
That's the punishment, you going down there.
That must be, I think. But in all honesty, this is the seriousness of what we're talking about, because if they are to make ground, and because finals is contest, and if you get opportunities off contest, you've got to nail them.
And they're winning those contests in the middle. Centre bounce goals, Jack. They are blitzing them.
Yeah, centre bounce has been an absolute weapon for them here. You think with Tristan Sherry versus Rory Love that North Melbourne would have the upper hand, but they are plus 11 in clearances, 9 to 3 inside the centre bounce. And once they've been able to get it out of there, they've been exposing North Melbourne out the front of the centre bounce and then scoring from it as well. That is a huge number from centre bounce, 3 goals, 1. It might not seem like a lot, but it is an area of the ground where you don't usually score from, Jono.
Yeah, North Melbourne went really defensive with their setup in the last couple they had to, and it was good to actually see that, Jack, as well, rather than just to keep trying to move forward. Bulldogs are reading Cherry as well. Lob's done quite well when being in centre bounce. North Melbourne had to adjust it. They didn't play. They're able to win one forward from that, but they need to have a good look at that at half-time.
Plenty of footy still to unfold here at Marvel Stadium and throughout the afternoon on the Sunday Ticket on Fox, before the sharpest minds at Fox Footy HQ assemble for the world-famous Bounce Quiz.
Welcome to the Bounce Quiz of 2020.
All right, folks, while they're doing that, let's just have a little bit of a look at the team stats. Weather's coming in for Perth. Sun's out. Blink, blink. Well, Santa, all good stuff. Hopefully it'll continue and last, Chris, the sunshine over there in Perth. That will be nice. Of course, that game is coming up not too far away, isn't it? That game is, my gosh, where is that? 4:40. That's coming up in a little over 2 hours' time. That's going to be a great game. Of course, the other game I've got happening today, Hawthorn taking on Richmond. That starts in about 1 hour's time, so we'll keep you posted if we're still here on this game while that game underway. We'll keep you updated with the scores on that one. Just have a little bit of a look at the disposal count. So it's all actually pretty even in this game. Both teams getting plenty of chances there, both even with the disposals. Of course, the Western Bulldogs, they're just a little bit more classier at the moment, got a little bit more talent. Of course, they know what to do with the ball. 184, 182. So everything is pretty even. The Dogs are kicking the ball a little bit more where the handballs are coming in from North Melbourne. And I see maybe a little bit excessive handballs there from North Melbourne. It's the pressure that the Dogs are putting on the Kangaroos, and they're just putting a few turnovers. Will be interesting to have a look at the turnover situation on the stats there where they come in. Inside 50s, well, the Dogs 35 up until halftime. They're way above their season average. They're getting plenty of chances there. 35 inside 50s. Just to North Melbourne's 18. There we go. So they have doubled. 19 scoring shots for the Dogs for 35 inside 50s. As I said, as North Melbourne 18 inside 50s for just 8. So the Dogs doing a little bit better there. Disposal efficiency, both at about 97%. Both going pretty well there, but it's the inside 50 efficiency. Dogs well on top there, 54 to 33%. Kangaroos got to lift a little bit more. The free kicks, all pretty standard free kicks so far at the moment. 10 to 9 umpires. Well, that's not too bad for this game, I think. The hit-outs, North Melbourne leading the way there, 17 to 10. Clearances, Western Bulldogs well and truly on top there, 19 to 10, and especially where it counts. The centre clearances, 9 to 3, the Bulldogs' favour. Always gives them the first opportunity out of the centre square. Stoppages, clearances, 10 to 7, Dogs by 3. Contested possessions, Dogs winning the hard ball, gets there a little bit more, 60 to 51. Uncontested, pretty well even there, 120, 124. Turnovers, 30, 32. All right, so that's not too bad. I thought it would be a little bit higher for the Kangaroos and a little bit lower for the Dogs, but it's pretty even there. Time in possession for the match, 45% for the Dogs, 40% for the Kangaroos. The marks, Dogs are gripping that ball a little bit better, 64 to 44. Normally they average about 98.4 marks per game, the Dogs, but they're well and truly on top of that. And of course the marks inside 50, finding their targets very well. And the big grabs are sticking there for the Dogs. 10 to 4, leading the way in that. Contested marks, Dogs a little bit stronger overhead, 5 to 3. And the tackles, of course, as I said, Dogs bringing the heat in this game. They started to fire up a bit. 27 to 18, the tackles, and tackles inside 50. Look at that, 9 to 1. North Melbourne needs to get a little bit more pressure going there if they want to prevent the Bulldogs from scoring. 23-15, the 1 percenters. Dogs again doing a little bit more in that department. All right, let me just roll this up all the way to the top. And as we just have another quick look at the live ladder for any latecomers in here, the Bulldogs there, this is one game they need to win and need to win next week to be guaranteed a spot in the top 8. Of course, Dogs, the live ladder will move them up into 6 on 52. And as I said, folks, still a couple of teams yet to play today. That is Hawthorn and Carlton. So the Dogs still will remain, no matter what happens, in the top 8 this week. Due to the percentage they got, 120.7%. That's a pretty healthy percentage, whereas Hawthorn, 108, Carlton, 107. A fair way behind, and that's probably a good couple of games worth of percentage there. So it all goes down to the points, the win points there. All right, let me take it back there. And we are 6 minutes away from the start of the bounce of the second half here. Let's hope the Kangaroos can actually find a way to score a little bit more. They haven't been too bad, the Kangaroos. Look, they're moving the ball not too bad. The Dogs' pressure through the midfield is certainly stopping them. It certainly did that in the latter half of that second quarter. They just need to try and find a little bit of space, get a little bit of run, get the players flowing forward like they did in that first quarter. And we should be in for a reasonably good second half. I think for North Melbourne, it's all about pride, getting the things right. Even though they can't make the finals this season, there's still a lot to play for them. They need to get their game going. They've got 6 quarters left this year, so that's what they need to do. Get their game processes going a little bit clearer, finding their teammates, etc. like that, and taking that into next week, and that will stand them well into next season as they will begin their journey next year. But the Dogs, they're putting everything into place, what they want. They're going to get everything right too. They want to come out of today's with good form. Yo, Addy G, what's going on? Addy G, the famous Addy G, is in the house. What's going on, Sky? Happy Sunday all. But the Dogs looking pretty good so far. Let's see if the Dogs can actually continue this, continue the pressure, and continue to put North Melbourne away in the second half. This is what you need to do, folks, coming into the finals in a couple of weeks' time. Only one round left of the home and away season next week, and then we're into the finals. So, you know, you got to start now and bring your best form forward when the finals are on the horizon. And those are the teams that usually go the deepest come finals time. Santa, 22k views on my live stream with the, was it the Sandbox and the Aussies in the rugby? That was the one, wasn't it? Holy moly. You are famous now, Addy G. Good stuff, right? Good stuff. I tell you what, they're it's a good duel between them because the Sandbox, South Africa, they're pretty good in the rugby there. In that, they are definitely pretty good. And of course, the Aussies are pretty good also in that. It's like when the Kiwis play, it's always a good rivalry between, I think it's South Africa, the Kiwis, and the Aussies in that. Bulldogs, Hawks grand final, centre all. It could be. It could be. You know, I still think Brisbane will make the grand final. I think Hawthorn are definitely a big chance. You know, and the Bulldogs are a little bit like the quiet achievers, like when they won it a few years ago. They're going along quite nicely. So who knows? Who knows? Could the Bulldogs be in there? Could Hawthorn be in there? Could GWS be in there? But I definitely think Brisbane will be there. I know they lost yesterday in a ring-a-ding-ding game against the mighty Magpies, but I think Brisbane are playing good football, and I think their senior players are going well enough. And I think one important also to remember is that Brisbane do play the MCG pretty well. It'll all come down to the draw, who they play in the first week. We're just having a little bit of a look here. Brisbane are actually sitting 5th at the moment. So if that is the way it ends up, well, that could be a whole different story. But if they sit 5th, they will probably get the first home final. But that means that they just cannot lose a game. You know, I think if you're going to be sitting on the ladder, I think you'd definitely want to be sitting 4th, not 2nd or 3rd. I think you'd be wanting to sitting 4th if you're in the top 4, because the team I'd want to be playing the first week of the finals is Sydney Swans, because their form is pretty ordinary. They're slow beginners and they don't do much until the last quarter at present, like we've seen. So that is the one team I'd love to be playing in the finals for the first week, and that's actually Sydney, who's sitting on top of the ladder. If I was Brisbane, the Western Bulldogs, or any of the other teams there. Good old Eddie's team, 50, Fremantle. Can they make it? Can they make it? My gosh. Holy moly. Just we thought all season, halfway through the season, we thought it was near impossible that Fremantle were going to not get a shot at the finals the way they were going. But it's possible that it could happen. I think, Eddie G, you'll be hoping for a West Coast victory today over Carlton, because I think there is just no chance on this planet that Hawthorn will lose to Richmond today. What do we got? We've got about a minute to go. So I think I'll take you back down to the ground in just a moment. Let me just, while I am here, folks, let me just have a look at the Just have a look at the odds for the premiership flag. Sydney Swans are favourites, $4 to win the flag. Even though they're sitting on top, I can't believe they're $4 favourite. I definitely couldn't have them that. $6 is Port Adelaide. The GWS Giants has certainly tightened in on their recent good form. They've won their last 5, just like Port Adelaide. And the Giants are $5 to win the flag. Geelong Cats, they are $9 to win the flag. Don't write them off just yet, just because they had a bad one yesterday. Hawthorn, $12. They're a good price. The Bulldogs, 10. Freo, 41. The Lions, $8, which I think are still a good bet at $8. So there we go. All right, we have started the third quarter. Let's get back down to the action.
Decisive and comprehensive Trelaw. Jerome has to go back and collect it.
That's a great tackle.
It was from Zerha with feeling. Tucker comes through. So a burst of energy from the Kangaroos at the start of the term.
He saw Zerha as well after that, but that was such a strong tackle. Bulldogs are out. They look like they're going to control it. And he flew in. Excellent.
Sherian lob down to Simkin. Just funnels it up to Scott, who had plenty of attention, and another ball up.
Good signs early for North here. First 2 stoppages, they've been able to halve it or win.
Nullify each other in the ruck that time. Liberatore, Trelaw finds Dale, back to Trelaw. And had no option just to hack it on the boot. It's a high one. Waitman at the front. Ball in dispute. Core did well in the end. McKercher, Scott, Larkey, and then Powell got a touch of the fumbles. Jones was there, lurking. Liberatore.
There's another unforced error there from the handball. Bringing the Dogs into the game.
Lob to no one in particular. Bontempelli on hands and knees. Davies, Uniac out of the congestion. Simkin just tried to manufacture something, didn't go the required distance anyway. And it's going to be another ball up.
Lob. Trelaw. Davies, Uniac.
Bit of a stalemate here early, just sort of contest and contest.
Record equaling day for Luke Beveridge. They're sitting reasonably comfortable as far as the result goes, but they want more. Bontempelli after Liberatore and Williams. Fraser settles on the left. Hard lead from Richards. Didn't get there despite best efforts. Filters back into the 50. Jack McRae, the unused sub so far. Charlie Comben subbed off early today for North Melbourne. Bergman in. Simpkin to Powell. Found a way out and across. There's elements of danger in the kick. But it arrives safely in the end of the veteran Liam Shields.
It's a safe pair of hands there, and then that kick questionable to Fisher. Had a little bit of time, luckily. Core back to Fisher, who blasts along the wing down the line. Ford tries to work his body into the front spot. Zerha was there, but it was Gerada Karmas. Kick towards centre half forward. Waitman at the front, nudged out again. And it's that man, Darcy, who's been impressive today. Spreads it wide. Daniel, 51 metres out. Short one, Waitman in the pocket.
It was a fantastic mark by Sam Darcy, but this is what we've been asking for from the Bulldogs. Just shorter kicks inside 50. Cody Waitman's been relatively quiet today, but he got his opportunity to lead up into some space here. It's going to take his best finish from on the boundary, 25 out.
24 goals, 12 for the year. He's just been asked to move around to the correct position, which makes the angle a shade more acute. Check side. Works it around. And played it really well. Hit it beautifully.
That was confident, wasn't it, from Cody Waitman? He knew exactly what he was doing in that situation and went back and nailed it. But it was off the back of Sam Darcy taking another big contested mark, 70 metres out from goal, chips it wide. But then it was the use inside forward 50. Jack, you're spot on with the way you've assessed this from the Bulldogs' point of view. Easy kick, 20 metres, someone leading up.
Yeah, buys you time defensively as well. So if Cody Waitman goes back and misses this one, which is, I mean, that takes a really good kick, the high level of difficulty to be able to kick a check side from that pocket there. But it buys you time defensively to set up as well, so your defence can come up the ground and actually put pressure on from a kick out there. And Cody Waitman, well, he dines out on the Kangaroos. I don't think he's been matched up against Jackson Archer before. Archer's taken a couple of scalps this year, but certainly he loves playing against North Melbourne.
Yeah, well, 3 on him last time, actually. A few free kicks that day. Bontempelli out of the middle again through to Lobb just had to get it on the boot in haste, and he might have hurt himself in the middle of the ground. Rory Lobb. I'll get back to that in a moment. There's a couple down. The fight for the ball goes on. Norton's a good scrap, isn't it, with Simpkin?
Their shoes are sore as well.
Fine, thank you. Aaron.
Rory's trying to limp back. Hopefully it's just a contact injury of some sort.
Got strapping on that knee.
He's going to limp down into the pocket. Sherry breaks away from Darcy. Back to the middle. Karmas. T-Cook tried to sink the slipper into it. Ray went without it. Now the numbers multiply all around.
Resting forward now, Rory Lobb. Sam Darcy's come up into the ruck.
Darcy wins it down. Powell trapped it, kicked it along the ground. Ricocheted out to Richards, who found some space, and then it's a long, long ball to the pocket. Norton's there, West is there. How the play it goes, as McDonald was the collateral damage.
A couple of times Ed Richards has broken the 50 or gone through that part of the ground and haven't got a result from it. The Bulldogs need someone coming up at him.
Darcy attacking from the ruck, and then just goes to ground. Scott's got the crumbs. Dawson, look away, handball to Shields, dispossessed by Bontempelli. Bontempelli wins the football to Gallagher, has to be quick. Ricochet ball. McNeil was there on the spots. It's kicked too fat, but it's going to be lucky in the end. Certainly didn't mean it, but Darcy was the right man.
Well, he's taken 45 contested marks this year. Only Jesse Hogan with 54 is better this season. So it's been huge from Sam Darcy. That's a big achievement.
He makes no mistake. Darcy with 4.
Christian Sherry just got lost under the high ball there, and Sam Darcy read it well. I love the fact that Darcy, even as a ruck, rolls to the top of the goal square. It's a forward move, this one, to still maintain some sort of, I suppose, positioning against your ruck. A lot of times as a key forward, you'll roll forward and find yourself there, but he's plugged himself in exactly the right position. A bit fortuitous that went sort of pinball style of a couple of legs here, but this is an absolute weapon for the Bulldogs going into finals. This young man has the ability to tear a game apart. He's got 4 today. We mentioned one of them's due for a big bag, potentially.
Maybe both. That's a bit like reading the EPL scores. It's Darcy 4, Ugelhagen 3, just after half-time. Young Harvey Gallagher, he hasn't learnt the full instructions yet. The bot gave him the ball,
Give it back.
fully expecting it to come back.
I was thinking the same
Gave
thing.
him a gentle reminder afterwards. Could be in for some action and some fun if you're a Bulldogs fan in the second half. The Roos need to dig in, and they'll know that. Wardlaw. Larky was able to see off Jones and then had to fight against others. The handball through McKercher, battled away by Bramble. Simpkin comes a second time, trying to lead the way in the middle there.
That was good by Fraser there. He had to come across because Nick Larky had beaten Jones, pushed him under the ball. Fraser was the third man in, saved.
Good to see Lobb is back in the thick of the ruck work again. Potentially got one high there. Richards back in defence now. Just sneaks through. Ford did all the good prep work to win the ball. Skids one back, could have gone anywhere. Straight to Gallagher.
Coast to coast, written all over there.
It's a hustle for North Melbourne, but getting back with speed.
Williams received it from Bontempelli. He did the right thing and gave it back to Bontempelli. Now Bramble. There's a bit of a foot race on here, but beats 2 to the punch. Kick to the top of the square. Oh, that was really heavy collision. Came to Treloar. Treloar trundling ball. It's bouncing towards the top of the square. Picked up by Stevens, who had time. And then McDonald looking for Sherry. He's got to be good, and he held his ground.
That was a huge contest, 20 metres out from goal. Just another one of those sliding ones as well, where the ball dropped a bit short.
Bergman.
That's right, it was low. Having a look now. West coming forward.
Friendly fire, Stevens and Bergman.
Well, to stop the game, I reckon.
So the mark's been taken
Good call, Jack.
by Lob as Bergman is being asked what day it is.
Stop.
That's great by the umpire. He was in a really precarious position on the ground. The trainers had signalled head.
Yeah, and his neck cops a fair bit here as well. And Rory Lobb has had a couple of big collisions in this quarter alone.
There's some common sense being used, Bradley.
Yes.
Swings it back into the middle for O'Donnell. Still a man down at the moment. Bramble scoots away. Oh, could have gone anywhere. Darcy on the follow-up. Archer, McDonald, Shields. Great smother from Darcy. Keeps it close. Gallagher turns, looking for the free. Doesn't get it. Richards flips it out. Doesn't go to Bontempelli. Instead, it's to West. Not much purchase on the kick. Darcy to pounce. Quick little nibble forward. Richards. He won it beautifully. Can't quite finish.
Riley West hasn't had the impact that he'd like today. I think he'd like that one back again. Adam Troy was in the perfect position. Just a little feedback handball would have been a relatively easy snap from 35 metres out.
1-1 for Richards today as Tucker brings it back into play. Zerha. Lead in the middle of the ground from Curtis. Takes it comprehensively and then his high ball's going to float towards Ford. Carvis was in the right spot though and punched out.
He just couldn't get enough on it to get it over the top to Ford, who'd made a good back lead, but the kick was going to have to go 60, 65 to get over the top to him.
He's been good today, Carmis.
There's a couple of skill errors early, but other than that, you're right, he's really putting together a good game.
So Lob and Sherry in the ruck. Sherry won it down towards Simkin, harassed by Trelaw, went to ground. Richards, hacking ball, it was touched off the boot. West, taken away from it. Stevens, looping handball, floated for too long, was looking for Simkin, cut off by Lob, but eventually Tucker floats it inside 50. Red, white and blue everywhere. And Williams retreats to Fraser, who leaves 50 to Daniel.
He scopes out what's ahead and the captain is in the neighbourhood. Takes the mark. Oh, he doesn't take the mark. I thought we were safe to call that before it happened.
You blew the whistle before the umpire blows it. He's just going to mark
I'm
it.
sorry, Jono.
I think George Wardle was rapidly dropping as well. So he chased him for about, I think it was about 70 metres across the middle of the ground. So, thank you, dropped it.
Sherry. Wardlaw. Just a little bit of freedom to swing the kick back. Carmis and Ford. O'Donnell trying to wind out of there. Two Roos bring him down. Hanson. Shields. Hanson. Ford took it. He knew how to get out of there, but actually doing it was another thing. Fraser right on the job.
As much as Luke Beveridge would like to blow this game out and win it, you still want a challenge to prime yourself in finals. It's a balance at the moment. You don't want North Melbourne just to roll over.
And percentage is not really an issue for them at the moment, so it probably is more about those other elements.
Bontempelli tried to get it to Giray.
It was a good block by the umpire.
It was a nice little block.
Saw a free kick at the G yesterday for umpire contact. It was very close to.
Very marginal.
It wasn't there, I don't think. But
Sherry attempting to get it to Wardlaw. Simkin up against the boundary line, beat one, and then just was able to manufacture a handball to Davies Uniac, who had nowhere to go.
His craft in Simkin was sensational. The way he pushed off Trelaw, win the ball in a really tight situation was excellent. Just couldn't execute the handball well enough.
Sherry catches it off the boot of Vandermeer. Liberatore scrapping for it. Tucker goes in hard. Umpire crosses himself.
a couple of times Tristan Sherry's grabbed it out of the ruck and gone defensive side. I just love him to grab it, just handball it forward, get it going forward North Melbourne's way.
Lob smashes it towards Bontempelli. Eventually Liberatore floats one high, off hands. Racing for it, Gallagher. Line beats him. Riley West with that membership shirt over the top. Over 60,000 members notched up by the Bulldogs.
Looks like Jack McRae is going to replace him. It's a great achievement, isn't it, for the Bulldogs? New facilities, over 60,000 members. They've come a long way. But they are hunting success in September. Marcus Bontempelli would love a second flag and one where he gets to hold the cup up. Davies Uniacke searching ball to the wing. Bramble after the initial contest. Was prepared to give it to anyone who wanted it on the run, and it was O'Donnell down to Daniel. Toppled against Fisher. What's me?
West coming off. Daniel's actually gone forward now. He's been playing half-back for most of the day. Now he's playing small forward.
Norton, Waitman and Darcy and Jamara Ugle-Hagan. So fully loaded. Kick to soften the bit. Perfectly designed for Darcy.
He identified the match-up because Archer, because of all the confusion that was going on in the goal square and the multiple leads, Archer found himself on Darcy. And it was a great kick by Caleb Daniel to identify that. Here's the free kick.
It's free. Not sure what he was complaining about. All right, for number 5.
Yeah, a little point there from Darcy. See that in the bottom box there. Just knew where he wanted it.
Seen this already today. That was even better. So the classy Sam Darcy puts through his 5th goal. And the Bulldogs lead is out to 60 points.
I'll tell you what's impressive here is just this. See if Jamara's moving. Cody Waitman comes across. Just these little blocks that create these mismatches as well. But I'm enjoying Sam Darcy's ability to move his hip. So he actually squares upside there, points to where he wants. And as soon as he's jumping up at the ball and catching it at his highest point, good luck. 200 plus centimetres and clunking it at the moment. And if he doesn't get it the first bite, he's actually developed this really nice sort of taps it to himself to then catch it on the second bite as well. And we saw him quick one inside 50 metres on his left. Just rolled around on the left then, John, and said thank you very much.
And that's what Caleb Daniels kicking can really do, I think, is he's such a good user by ball. If he gets some more continuity and finishes his game strong, then it could be important.
Kick 4 against Richmond. He's bettered that today. Liberatore to Williams, blazing through the middle. Bontempelli, Williams sizes them up, goes bang! And bang into the post.
Had the right idea with the check side there. He had to hit those low just to keep it going straight. Would have liked to see him maybe roll into the left foot there, but ominous signs here for North Melbourne.
But their wind in their sails now, the Doggies.
Fisher tries his luck on the dock side. Didn't hit it that well. Bontempelli, 70 out. Ugle-Hagan leading into the pocket and will look to either come at the ball or double back. He comes at the ball.
Darcy,
he runs. He jumps for Darcy. You got to take.
It was Caleb Daniel that provided the block this time. Sam Darcy playing in the ruck on Teakle just charged forward. And Daniel set up a basketball pick, a very small pick, but he created a couple of metres of separation, and then Darcy just rolled around nicely.
Already a career high. If he could kick, he's 6. The sky would be the limit. Even with the roof on. 6 goals for Sam Darcy. This is turning into a feast for the Bulldogs. And 1 goal 5 of last week is a distant memory.
It certainly is. And you can see Darcy charging through there. It was a tiny little block from Caleb Daniel. And Sam Darcy put himself in a perfect position and just went over the pack and clunked it, and he is having some sort of day here. Jamara was in the marking contest there, committed a couple of players, and Darcy sauntered in nicely behind. Marcus Bontempelli knew exactly where to kick it. We spoke to Luke Beveridge prior to the game today, asking about what that cohesion's going to look like going forward. Certainly in this third quarter, their ability to score from inside 50, 6 shots from 9 inside 50s for the Western Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs have made their sub, the veteran Jack McRae coming on. Riley West is the sub. It's a tactical one.
Umpire wants it back. There's Jack. 17th game this year. One down by Darcy towards Bontempelli, fighting for it. Just kicked it up to himself. It was clever. And then Richards with explosive speed, 50 metres out. It's curling around. It's another one. The wind is in their sails now, the Dogs.
Third time's a charm, John. Third time's a charm for Richards.
Spot on, but it's out of the middle, isn't it? Marcus Bontempelli again with skill by foot, and then just to keep it in the area and then use it well for the centre. You see it, Richards getting to that spot quite often. He knows exactly what Marcus Bontempelli's going to do.
That's just will and strength, isn't it?
And that's the way Bob plays. How often have we seen that this year? Ed Richards had to head towards the grandstand to get the distance on the kick. He was able to bring it back nicely.
Great foil, Ed Richards. Like, he's been played at half-back for a few years now, and they've seen his IQ, they've seen his ability to use it inside 50. Caleb Daniels, another one as well, that has good use inside 50, but those last 10 goals, they're 9.
Yep, 9
straight.
Consecutive goals. Kangaroos' last goal came in the first quarter.
There's 5 of those to Sam Darcy as well.
And Scott's goal, the 25-minute mark of the opening term. A long time ago now, the leaders out to 73. Davis Uniac comes cruising out of the middle. They do get a centre break. Larkey, can they capitalise? The fumble invited the Bulldogs back in, but there's going to be a free to Larkey for their hanging on. This distance. And his mind might just be beyond him, so he takes the short. Oh, not deemed far enough. So Scott has to set it up. Curtis and Ford were both present. Teakle grabbed it, but couldn't get ball to Kirk before. Karmas took care of business back there for the Dogs.
Desperation there from Karmas.
Short one. What, he had to be 15 yards. So Dale out towards McNeil, spoiled by Tucker and over and out.
Just thinking of Sam Darcy, some comparisons. Paul Salmon comes to mind as the last really tall player to be at the
I was born in 1988, Hello. You're looking at me there.
Paul Salmon was unbelievable. What a forward he was for the Bombers.
63 goals in the first 13 games before he got injured.
Wardlaw, Karmas with the spoil only as far as Ford, who just threw it on the boot. It'll be an up and under towards the top of the square. Hack collapses. Hanson Jr. breaks the drought of goals for the Roos.
Just want to say who the North Melbourne player was that got back to compete in the air against Jones, which was an important part of this whole passage from North Melbourne. Jones was sitting under. It looked like he was going to take an uncontested mark deep. There you go, Liam Shields.
Got a free run at it because Caleb Daniel didn't try to put a body in between Liam Jones. You can see Caleb Daniel front of screen. Liam Shields actually runs past him. Just could have created an easy mark from an opposition kick, but was thinking the crumb early on, and then that's great from Liam Shields, who's a leader that North Melbourne need, especially at this point in the game as well, where at the moment they've been comprehensively beaten. Still, there's little things that North Melbourne can get out of the back part of tonight's game.
10 losses this year of over 40 points for North Melbourne. They'd love to just trim it back and stay competitive and finish off the year in a positive fashion, as they did last year with that last round win. Davies Uniac with first hands. Shields ready. Simpson gets disposed. And now River firing out of the middle. Deep again towards Darcy. Crashing down. Dawson does enough.
I'm sniffing 10 here. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm sniffing 10 from Sam Darcy.
2021, I think it was Good Friday. Josh Bruce kicked 10 goals in that 128-point win for the Dogs.
They've isolated him too. They've stuck him deep by himself.
Especially with Condon going down the way.
Scott's kick was smothered by Norton. Norton's looking to do it himself. Breaks the tackle eventually. Liberatore. Daniel needs some help. Shrugs the tackle. Then it's McRae's little piercing ball. Was looking for Norton. Bumped off it. Out of play eventually.
I should have been holding the ball against Norton there. I reckon we spoke about 360, but good defensive action there from the key forward. But here, he just had the opportunity. A couple of turns. That's holding the ball for Mike.
Yeah, because he had the fend-off opportunity already.
Sherry. Ugle-Hagen Taken off the football. Richards, Liberatore, wobbly one, and makes the boundary umpire work, and out of bounds on the full.
What happened to Zamara there? That looked like he got body slammed.
Well, we know Aiden Caw's ultra competitor.
It was touched off the boot, I think you'll find, so boundary umpire's been ordered to throw it in.
He leveled up the clearances in this quarter and it hasn't stopped the torrent of scoring. Lob with a handoff, Trelaw, Tucker, McNeil, Wardlaw, Dale looking for Wardlaw. Doesn't let anyone stop him. He's placed handball though, it's coming hard the other way, Bramble. Darcy again, 1, 2. A free kick, yes. High in the end, the umpire deems. Man, he's such a tall man. And
he's undefendable, that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Stride, it is undefendable.
I think he almost got away with the first action, but not the second.
The last three, the free kicks after that as well. Got him in the back, got him high a couple of times.
Already 3 goals for the quarter, 6 straight for the game. Bit of a letdown.
That'd be the question, Johnny. Like, so a lot of those shots have been around the corner, which he seems comfortable doing, and set shots with inside 25 metres, 30 metres, he's been comfortable. When he starts to get out at 40, 50, he needs to maintain his technique.
Sarah on the boundary.
Miller Bergman is out of the game with concussion. He came into the game, he was the sub for Charlie Comben, who has gone to hospital. I'm told it's precautionary to assess a lower leg injury, but he also has concussion, so carnage really for North Melbourne.
So lobs kick in the hands of McDonald to Fisher. He's looking out there for Stevens. He's got McNeil for company, keeping it in. O'Donnell, McRae. So the woes continue for the Roos as McRae, who was subbed on in this third term, can go back and have a shot himself to bring up the ton for the Dogs. Not the easiest of assignments. Onto the left. The crowd like it, and the goal umpire is as well. Going to be very, very happy with it.
Nice celebration from McRae as well. All clear, thanks.
It's kind of like the older guys sort of modern celebration.
Yes.
So a forward half turnover here for the Bulldogs, 24-7 today. So their defensive game and their profile has been strong behind the ball. Some of those have been poor North kicks. That's another poor North kick there that leads to a turnover. But you still got to make the most of them when you do get those opportunities. And speaking of getting the most of the opportunities, Jack McRae started as the sub today. You want to come on, you want to have an impact straight away. And that there is relatively timid in terms of the modern celebrations, Anthony.
That's pretty wild by Jackson.
It is wild. Wouldn't fit in at Hawthorn.
We'll have to get our graphics department after that as well. 75 points the margin, pulled out at the middle, again by the Kangaroos. Sherry's kick lands in the Larky direction. Back up required from Curtis, back as reinforcement around the trap there. So the Dogs come away with it. Williams to Karmas to McRae. Quickly spots Duray on the wing. And then to Richards. Prowling along the Dockside wing and getting it in deep to Lobb and Norton. Darcy could be Rover here, doesn't fall his way. He drifts back to goal as Tucker handballs to McDonald. And then Scott had it under relative control, sends it back to the wings. A bit of a target for Karmas. Easily, he leaps up in the air to swat that away. Davies Uniac comes after it. McKercher, 2 bounces, 3 bounces. He's craving that first goal. Curtis. Oh, Zerha, the fumble. This has been very labour intensive. Forward back to the goal square. Jones has that area covered. And goes to Clarkson using his mate John Longmire's model there with the hands over the mouth.
Dogs almost coughing this up. It was McNeil, it's contagious. Bontempelli's trundling ball outside 50. Waitman Just patted it towards Trelaw. McRae, lob. Waitman had to rake it in, was running fast. Props it up inside 50. Norton. Spoilt. Scott comes through. Pats it to himself. He's got 2 to beat. Norton and Daniel. Scott kicks it to himself. He's doing well. Is it going to be deliberate?
The sake of the umpire, didn't he? Well done by Scott, though. Seriously, to win that contest was excellent.
Sam Darcy was out by himself inside the forward 50.
Check on Jamara there. Hopefully he's okay. Lob. Sherry wins the tap. Trelaw just trying to temper the kick, but it was smothered anyway. Bramble. And McNeil away to the right, plays it back to Fraser. Just cushion the kick for Waitman. It was beautifully executed. And out comes Cody.
This is what happens when you've got such a mainstay up in the forward where you think the ball is going to continuously go to Sam Darcy. Other options start to open up. Cody Waitman's got great football IQ. He puts himself in good spots to get the ball good in the air and good on the ground.
20 goals for in the first 9 games of his season. Picked a beauty earlier. You can add that one to the tally. The Bulldogs' 16th goal expands the lead to 81 points.
Starting to get ugly here for North Melbourne. It is. When you look at their turnovers and critical parts of the ground in this game so far, that's what would disappoint Alistair Clarkson. When we spoke to him pre-game, he was actually quite up and about with the fact that, yeah, they lost last week or they've lost a couple recently, but they've been in the games for majority, and that's been their increase and rise in performance in the second half of the season. But today, after quarter time, has been a letdown for that.
Just feels like they're hanging on a bit, doesn't it?
It does now. They've missed Sheasley today. You can see that in terms of ball use and amount of disposal that he does get.
Sherry working hard. Richards taken to ground. Stoppage in the middle. See,
It's concerning, isn't it?
gentleman there with
Came off early with that shake as well, didn't he?
Wardlaw. Kick smothered. There was a brick wall there. Neil. That little tap from Daniel was clever in the end. And Trelaw was far too slow.
Yeah, great chase.
Took half an hour.
Seen some excellent chases in this round. One yesterday at the G, Jack, that you saw live. There's been a couple in this game as well.
Howell's kicked to a 2-on-2. Palmas had some good things today.
The crowd knew that Wicker was in the right spot there. They could read that one.
Short, Duray. Front of the dugout. So, a minute left. He's going to hug the boundary here. Trelaw. Short to McRae, who can kick from the opposite pocket.
This is a tester.
This one is a test on the left leg to the boundary, but he's worked hard. He's worked hard, Jackson, in this course. It's getting an opportunity.
He's got that little sort of kick around the corner, 15-metre dart in him.
He has. But this one will go high and fade as it just loses a bit of momentum.
So from the opposite pocket, it's not a bad attempt. But through for a behind.
Jono was up in his chair too.
You were hoping for the celebration,
That was a nice kick. One hand celebration, one behind.
I thought he could have put one finger out. He was going to be consistent. Dying seconds of the third quarter. 7 goals, 5. We've reached in this term to 1 straight. Karmas and Jones both rise, but Teakle, superb judgment from the big man. And he's obviously paid a visit to the barber during the week. Different looking man at half back. Pokey kick. Comes unstuck again. McRae and Bronson Peters for the deepest forward and throws his head back in disappointment because everyone wants to be a part of what has been a dominant display from the Western Bulldogs. The lead has expanded to 82 points. 16-15 to 4-5. 1 more quarter to go. Sam Darcy the star with 6 goals.
All right, three-quarter time here at Marvel Stadium, and it's the Dogs doing as they please. 16-15, 111 to North Melbourne, 4-5-29. The Dogs piling on 7 goals, 5 to the Dogs, only 1 goal. It was a frenzy of score, frenzy of goals there for the Dogs, and of course Darcy on fire up to 6 goals. But it's the skill is coming through with the Bulldogs today. They're looking very, very good. And this form's going to take them well deep into September when the finals begin. North Melbourne, on the other hand, they look like they're like 2 steps behind the Bulldogs in all movements. They just can't break the defence of the Bulldogs, which is holding up well. They're just struggling, North Melbourne. And although their score is only 29, they're not giving up, folks. They're not giving up for all you North Melbourne supporters out there. They're still having a crack out there in this game today. It's just nothing seems to be going right for them. And the Dogs are always there to deliver. All right, let's just have a quick look at the player stats and the goals, and then we'll take you back down to the ground. Adam Treloar's having a great game there for the Doggies with 24. Fisher also with 24 there for the Roos, are going pretty well. Tommy Liberatore up to 20. It was a good quarter. The Bont getting into the game a little bit now, up to 20 possessions, 7 kicks, 13 handballs, 5 marks, 2 tackles, 3 clearances. Kicked a couple of behinds. I think he'd enjoy to kick a goal, that's for sure. Ed Richards there with a couple, 19 possessions. There we go, Sam Darcy, 16 disposals, 6 goals. We'll have a look at the goal scorers in just a moment. Just run through the stats for everyone out there. Thanks, Chris. Got to go out and do a little bit of stuff for now. We'll see you at the West Coast Carlton game. I actually just had a look at that, and West Coast are actually going in as favourites for that match. Can you believe it? Right, here we go. A little bit down. Jackson Archer, always like to keep an eye on his for North Melbourne, only 7 disposals. As I said, I'd like to see him get amongst the action a little bit more. I think that's where he should be. I think that's where the coach should put him. A couple of minutes out. Let's just have a look. Let's just have a look at the goals. The goals, who's kicking all the goals today? And Sam Darcy, of course, with his 16 disposals, 11 kicks. He's kicked pretty accurate. He kicked 6 straight, and then he kicked that one behind. So he's got 6 goals, 1. There we go. That is more than North Melbourne's score. Ugelhagen with 3. Waitman, he's got 2. Ed Richards also with 2. They're the only multiple goal scorers on the ground so far today. We've got Zera 1, Vandermeer 1, Bailey Scott's got 1, Aaron Norton's got 1, Jack McRae, Nick Larkey and Robert Hanson Jr. are the other single goal scorers for the match. Sam Darcy, the only one in the fantasy points, up to three-quarter time over the ton. He's got 119. Going along nicely. And, of course, Zera 94, Richards 82, Treloar 80, Lobb 80, Fisher 80, and the rest under that. Let's just have a look at the team stats. I'll be interested to see the inside 50s. There we go. The Doggies are already on their season average of 56, 53 inside 50s for 31 scoring shots. So they're going very, very nicely there. Inside 50s for North Melbourne, just the 26. I think they went inside 11 times that quarter. I think from memory it was 15, around 15 at half time, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. 26 inside 50s for 9 scoring shots. All right, we're going to get back down to the ground. We'll get back to the commentators as they will take us into the final quarter here, whereas the Dogs by 82 points at Marvel Stadium.
His Western Bulldogs lead it by 82 points. In fact, since quarter time, they've kicked 11-12 to just 1 goal, 1. But all eyes on the young Western Bulldogs star. Let's see if we can get him to 10 goals here. But Jack, I say if he can kick 10, well, why not go on to 13 perhaps?
Sarah, you shot early and got in. I haven't heard you say 11. I heard you say 13.
11 doesn't quite roll. as well, does it? But it's fantastic, John.
Well, I was with you, Hutto, the day that you
were.
called 13, and it was one of the most amazing days of footy that we've been at together. But this is the story here and what the Bulldogs have been able to achieve inside forward 50 with 16 marks to 4, and it has been Darcy, not so much Norton and Ugle-Hagan, although Ugle-Hagan in the second term really turned it on as well. So Luke Beveridge has been pretty happy with the way things have unfolded in this game, especially their score off turnover.
Yeah, also Darcy's had 13 score involvement, so we're nearly there, but for them, they have crucified North Melbourne, the Bulldogs, from turnover, and it's been North Melbourne's doing as well. It hasn't been elite defence from the Dogs, but they've had that ability that North Melbourne have tried to come back through the middle and they've made them pay, and let's get him to 10.
North doesn't have a goal either. That's the other one to watch. I reckon he's pretty keen. He's a couple of behinds.
Maybe he's giving a bit of feedback now too, Mike.
Greatest winning margin the Dogs over the Roos was in 2021, 128 points. So it's 111 v 29 as we kick off the final term. Lob, Treloar, Waitman. It's a rapid-fire handball. Kick down the corridor. Norton hits the back hard. Out the back, it's Archer. And then slipping over at the wrong time, Simkin did okay in the end. McKercher, floating ball out to Stevens. Tucker in a little bit of a predicament. Then Stevens under the bus, and he is gone.
Interesting, Cody Waitman starting.
Yeah, he did.
McRae to Waitman. Waitman fires at goal and misses.
He didn't stay there, though, did he? He
No,
took
I think
off and just went forward.
I actually don't mind that play. Just shoot him straight through the back of the stoppage.
It's something we used to see a lot more of, didn't we, before the 666.
Yeah, Melbourne were huge on that.
McDonald back to the wing, towering mark from Sherry. He has Larky kick down the line. That goes shorter than that. So
That's the second mark inside the forward half since quarter time for North Melbourne.
Wow. Some coverage back there now. Scott takes off. Milestone game for him, as we mentioned. Didn't really go searching for Larky. It was more for Zerha and well judged by O'Donnell.
Not sure Rory Lobb will do much training this week. Could be full recovery for Rory.
Montempelli stretches out. Kick for McRae. Sits nicely. Had the handball to the voice of Vandermeer, who is expressed when he gets into full stride. Great desperation from Stevens to slow him down. Good to see Jamara back out there rolling onto the left. Here comes Darcy.
Downfield for a kick.
Yep.
So when it's going your way.
Oh, this is what you need too when you want to get to double digits. You need a couple of easy ones.
Yeah, but these are the ones you're right. From outside 40, 35, 40 that he just has battled a little bit with the last couple of weeks. Inside that area, there's no question he's very, very good, Sam Darcy.
Got a great camera angle of this as well, just to see if he does veer out to the right, which he has a habit of doing. Straight at the goal umpire for mine. You nearly want to high-five the man on the mark as it goes through.
28 goals, 21 coming in today. Previous best was 4. He's already bettered that. We are right behind him. And the Bulldogs fans are as well. For number 7. Magnificent strike. Breakout game for Sam Darcy. And the Bulldogs fans that are here at Marvel Stadium will be able to tell that story. They were here to witness it firsthand. And he may not be done yet.
Sense that Jamara Ugle-Hagan knows that Sam Darcy's got a decent amount under his belt at the moment. He's looking for him there, but gee, I don't know.
That's not a free kick.
Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Jack, can you do something about that?
Well, no, I don't think I can. Unfortunately.
There was an early shootout between Darcy and Ugle-Hagan. He's kicked 3 himself, Jamara, but he celebrated his teammate's 7th goal.
Been exposed aerially down back north without Comben. Right.
So the bounce favoured Sherry, and then the whistle almost malfunctioning there. A free kick to Log to the top of the square. It's been clunked by Norton. Initially, we were looking for Darcy and then Norton behind him.
Well, when he took the front spot, I thought he judged that perfectly against Sam Darcy, but this time it was Aaron Norton. He found himself in the right place.
That's a good mark there by Norton as well. He sort of played third fiddle today to Jamara and also Sam Darcy.
So going for his seconds and straight through the middle.
Another centre-bounce clearance for the Bulldogs, this time off a free kick. And then from that, they're able to go long once again. And that's been the go-to today because how good the tools have been in the air for the Bulldogs. Once again, Taron Norton just in the back there. Nothing much Aiden Corr could do. Ball gets sort of lost over the back of Darcy, and Norton found himself in the perfect position.
You mentioned Comben going off early, Jack. A depleted North Melbourne, so the current time on the bench with no Bergman, no Comben.
Bergman was the one that came on. He was the sub today for Comben as well. Unfortunately, they both suffered concussion.
It's 95 points now. It's only heading one way at the moment, it seems. North try and dig in. Shields taken down. Sherry still toiling away in the ruck. Powell, Liberatore. Norton denied by Corr. But David Uniacke takes it, but can't take off because Liberatore thorn in his side. LDU with 18 disposals. Darcy the deepest forward, waiting with expectations that it's going to come his way again, and soon. Batted away by Curtis though, and that kick starts the Kangaroos. Turn through Simpkin, proper little kick for Larky. It was awkward for him. McRae tracks it down to Treloar, so here they go. Dale on hand to McRae. Expectations rise again towards Lobb. Sherry, here's Waitman crashing through and didn't come out barely alive the other side.
I think you ricocheted off Norton first.
What a scene from Happy Gilmore there. I believe that's Mr. Gilmore's.
Donald, it's the pack hard. Sherry rifles it forward, fighting for it. Fraser comes out to Davies Uniacke. Skies one. 2 on 2. Up they go, and a good grab from O'Donnell with really good composure. And then he's gone and coughed it straight up to Curtis, and then the low trajectory ball skittled about 2 or 3 of them. Daniel, and they're going to clear again here. O'Donnell stretching out wide to Richards. There's plenty of red, white and blue in the middle on their own. Be careful, that's near 50. Duray just held up. Not sure where to go at this point. He's looked left, right behind him. Now eventually long ball to the congestion inside 50. Ugelhagen flew no mark. Darcy McNeil wrapped up by Scott. Will be a ball up.
Norton ducks back to the goal square. Bontempelli ripped it out of there. Daniel to Treloar. It's coming in again. Darcy just worked it, under it by Dawson. He did pretty well. Waitman goes to work. Scott's got issues. Norton. Sharing to himself, but where to next? Shields, he found an ally. Tucks the kick nicely for Hansen. He has the footy at half-back.
No option to head him here.
Kick towards Zerhart. Just a punch from Camus. Makes sure of it and then runs off onto the bench.
He's played a great role today, Camus. His ability, he could have gone for the mark there, but the fundamental was to spoil it out of the ground, and get a reset.
So Sherry has been comprehensive in the hit-out count, as you just saw. That's gone over. After a red letter match last week. Lob down towards Treloar along the ground. McKercher. Liberatore trying to grabbed the football. Richards in the air, taken over by Powell, out of play.
Sorry, Krista.
Adam Treloar with another 28 so far in this game. He'll reach 30 plus once again. What a year he's had for the Bulldogs.
Sherry only as far as Bontempelli by hand to Treloar. Coming through Dale, slipped over at the wrong time. Daniel has a 360 and then comes laterally towards Richards. He just had to do a little bit of extra work that time. Probes it forward. Liberatore.
Lead him back 3 metres. Stand.
So nothing doing further afield at the moment. And I'm not sure what he's doing at the moment. He thought he was going to kick it backwards there for a moment. And then he's kicked it straight to the opposition. Wardlaw, no mark taken. Poor in the end. Bontempelli, Ugelhagen, floating ball. Treloar worried out of it by Fisher. Fisher hacks it on the boot back in towards the middle to a 50-50 over the head of McKercher. O'Donnell did well. Handball Daniel out to Fraser, who's going to spread it wide, and running hard for it is McRae.
He's unique, isn't he, Linda?
That's one way of describing it.
McRae to Fraser, who's done well on his return to the team today. Over 20 disposals and brave with that kick, maybe to a fault. It's given them an opportunity, the Kangaroos, to pounce. Larkey with the feed to Shields, and Hansen has popped up and put through another goal. That's his second. Staving off the Dogs as they're threatened to get beyond 100 points.
Well, they're good first quarter, Hansen, and then obviously, like everybody else, they dropped off a little bit. Kicked one in the third, and now one in the last. So he finished off the game strongly as well. Spent a bit of time on the bench start of this quarter, but now will probably find himself running out the final part of this game. So an opportunity to maybe get one more, try and get a couple more touches, use the ball well.
I'm sure Luke Beveridge would be wrapped by that kick from Fraser across to Caleb Daniel, 1-on-3, but North Melbourne have chosen to play Hansen just to try and get games under their belt, see what they've got, and that's what you've got to do in the back part of the season when you know you're not going to play finals. Find out something about your young players.
7th game for Hansen Jr. Racks up a couple of goals. Karmas in the ruck. Davies Uniac spinning ball out to Dale.
I'm not sure Rory Lobb will really take too much further part in this game.
Karmas was one option, went to Fraser, just lost his footing and then got it to Richards, had a little bit of time, back to Fraser, off his shoelaces. Karmas goes out wider. Dale and Daniel can raffle it. Dale's got it eventually from 50 metres. Bontempelli's in the right spot. Couldn't quite take the grab. Out it comes to McRae, and McRae gets multiple goals. He's kicked two after subbing on.
Sorry, he's a smart player, isn't he, Jackson McRae? He just gets to the right spot, uses his experience. He is again. He was by himself. How many times has he been behind the contest? Finally one comes his way. He's not happy, he wanted the free kick. But anyway,
with Karmas going into the middle, do you think that Luke Beveridge is sensing the occasion as well for Sam Darcy? Because Darcy's been the second ruck for most of the day. He's out on the ground still.
Like it, Jack.
I love that.
You are thinking like a true full forward
It's
too.
fantastic. We don't get to see 10 very often. He's obviously at 7. He's still got a while to go, but he did in the third quarter kick 3 goals very quickly. And you could see the live ladder there as well, the impact that's had on the Bulldogs.
They're close to the best percentage in the competition. Only Sydney ahead of them now.
And of course, live with the game going on at the MCG today too.
Simpkin. Bontempelli still has some purpose about this. Takes it on the wing. Just cruising along. Feeds it back to his old mate McRae. Stabs it for Liberatore. Interference run by Fisher. Stevens overran Scott. They're getting closer to the Bulldogs' goal. The pressure relentless. It's a bit of holding. Gallagher is about to soccer it forward, but it's going to come back to Kangaroos' Tucker.
Too far away from the goal square from Sam Darcy there. Gave away a free kick, but he's just desserts.
Game 148 for Darcy Tucker, the ex-Docker.
So a drip tray at the moment up against the boundary line fence. Long ball to the congestion and punched out.
It's fast out there on the Roos bench, isn't it?
Not a pretty sight for Roos supporters, unfortunately. Seri through the fingertips. Simkin is taken by Daniel, eventually hacked forward over the head of Norton. Vandermeer's racing after it. McNeil off the ground. Never deviated through for a behind.
Right option, I thought, from McNeil to have a crack at that in that situation.
Dogs have dominated stoppage today, plus 11, 49 points. Brendan Lade, their midfield coach, would be wrapped with that performance.
McDonald gets a bit more adventurous down to Larkey.
Well, it's a huge performance as well with no Team English today.
Davies Uniac versus Bramble in the air. Hansen captured. The Dogs fans like the work of Duray. Or is in the stationary bike. Time for the captain to come off, perhaps. 96 points is the margin. Shields stabs one to 4. Zerha wants it in the pocket. Has the waiting on the kick. It wasn't bad, but plenty of obstructions in his way. And this is Bramble in cruise control. A couple of bounces. Can cover the territory and the terrain pretty comfortably to McRae.
Back to Fraser. Out to Dale. So now they open up the field with Duray. Bounce to himself. He's going to use Dale again. Back to Duray. And now long ball. Carter says, turn a big Newell. Hagen used Scott as a step ladder illegally. And advantage is going to be paid here. Davies Uniac with the football.
There's a reason to keep watching. You never know what we might see in the next 10 minutes.
That's it.
So Core, Davies Uniac. Play on the call. No one to kick it to. So it's a kick to McDonald, who had time to go to Dawson as they go very wide. 2 wides. Along the boundary line, Tucker. And the Dogs have the numbers here. So comprehensive, whichever way you look at it. O'Donnell's done some good things as well.
Sam Darcy's just come to the bench for a bit of a spell, which is a bit unfortunate for those cheering him onto the 10.
Bit of a John Longmire mantra there. Luke Beveridge. The Bond's having a break as well. Bit of a shove there. Spotted by the umpire. Archie better return it quickly.
Pointed at the umpire there as well.
By the way, Darcy with 7 goals. If you just joined us, only 3 Bulldogs have kicked 8 or more goals in the last 30 years. Bruce Hudson. I'll let you guess the other one, Jack.
Cody Waitman.
50. The gentleman sitting next to you. John Smith, 8 to Hudson and 8 to B. Johnson.
Danny Sutherland, did he kick 8?
Simon Beasley.
When did you kick 8?
A long time ago now, Jack.
Duray, after full consideration. Take towards Hugo Hagen. He's denied any sort of access. Bateman was stalking. There was some high contact on Fisher. Very delayed advantage. Tucker's kick was good in the end.
So Fisher's had 27 out of the back half for North Melbourne. McCurchin with 24. Davies Uniac now for 24 with a bullet.
I think with Fisher's 27, only one of those kicks has gone inside 50. For a damaging halfback, that's not enough for mine.
Kick to half forward from Zerha, coming across Fraser.
Yeah, they've controlled that well at half-back with Jones, Fraser, O'Donnell as well. Good spoil.
Daniel with a little bit of work to do. He's going to retreat back to Dale. O'Donnell giving ground here. Bramble.
Been impressed with Fraser and McDonald today. Obviously, a lot going into the ruck, but they needed to stand up.
So Treloar. Bramble wide to Dale. And Daniel. So eventually they force forward towards half forward. Waitman caught at the back. Core paddled along the ground towards Zerha. Out to Scott, who's got a little bit of time for a jog. His kick was a wobbly one. Curtis couldn't mark it. Jones goes in. Curtis tries to worry him out of it. Ford is there as well. Jones taking an tackle. Umpire is going to ball it up.
Well done, Liam Jones there. 1v2.
Still got enough energy for a bit of a scrap. Yeah, those intercept marks, 4 to O'Donnell, 4 to Lobb, 4 to Jones, and 3 to Fraser. So they have shared the workload. Gallagher's made an impression on his return to the team. There's a little shove and a couple follow-ons to Stevens and Scott. They do stay ahead of the game with some nifty hands. Fisher. Norton was threatening and still is. Oh, fantastic. 3 efforts from Norton.
No right foot there.
He has, but the fumble too from Hugo Hagen.
Has he done a hamstring? Was he cramping? I've given you 3 options there.
He just yelled out cramp.
Okay, thank you. That's the best of the 3 by far. Vandermeer. Oh, Williams. Diving mark. And the opportunity to kick the Bulldogs' 20th goal. And we'll bring up the 100 as far as the league goes.
There is nothing worse than Queen.
It was a good spot for him. He was right near the bench. That was one thing. Subbed off last week as a precaution, Aaron Norton. So Bailey Williams just gets the odd venture forward. Capitalises. And the Bulldogs lead. There's triple figures at Marvel Stadium.
He is a beautiful kick at the footy, Williams. And it was a nice kick back inboard by Vandermeer to spot him up. All this off the back of Norton, working hard here to spoil. Didn't give up on the chase. Gets a big, holding the ball there. But after it, he just gets up with cramp. It was a little bit.
It's a nice one there.
It's a good centering kick.
Just that can be a tricky little kick, just a little dink around the corner. You've got to put it in the right spot.
No cotton wool for the Bulldogs skipper Marcus Bontempelli back out there to run out this last 5 minutes despite the big lead. They're letting him run it out.
Goal kicker Bailey Williams 1-1, 14 touches. Landmark game next week. He plays 150th as Seri's kick was smothered off the boot. Trumbles towards Bramble. My hand to Karmas. Goes himself. McRae out wide at a Bramble and Bontempelli.
That's disposal number 16 from McRae.
Not a bad half of football as Bontempelli centering ball, looking for Hugo Hagen. Big fist from Core. Over for a behind.
Yeah, just didn't have enough on it.
Adam Trelaw led across 50 and was only 20 metres out of his zone. And Marcus thought, nah, you can know your head.
Scott takes off. O'Donnell manoeuvred himself to the front, but that suited Larky well. And Hanson flying along that city wing. Just had to pump the brakes for a moment. And kicks to half forward. Jones was anticipating that.
Another good chase by O'Donnell as well, late in this quarter.
And by Teakle there. A little handoff to Caleb Daniel. Quick mind change was a good one. Back to Giray. The Doc plays it out to Fraser. Floats it back to Karmas at centre half back. You can see the field ahead, and he spots Gallagher. There's little cavities everywhere at the moment as they control the footy down the ground. The Bont's just, that's not going to help Trelaw's cause. He's got 3 Kangaroos to close it out. Marcus was just waiting out at right half forward. But now he has to come up to the stoppage. Shadowed by Davies Union. 103 points the difference. No hiccup for the Bulldogs today. Multiple hands allows Powell into the clear. Back to Fisher. Now to Liam Shields. Pondering. Plays it back into the middle again. Fisher continues to rack them up. 31st disposal to Archer. Didn't have have a look at things out on the city side. Is that any better? Is there a way forward for Davies Uniac?
Stand.
Teakle, Sherry are deep.
Play on.
Larky's in the pocket. That was the decision. Jones was ready for that occurrence.
Tell you what it does do, it opens up a fantastic game of footy next week. Up at Ballarat, Mars Stadium versus the GWS Giants next Sunday. You beauty.
North head to Tasmania against Hawthorn to round out the season.
And the Hawks will have to win that one too, most likely.
Sherry to Simpkin to Wardlaw at the side of the boot and puts it through. So gives the North Melbourne cheer squad something to get up out of their seats for, and it's back within that 100-point buffer with 3:23 to play.
This one will be reviewed because I think Ed Richards has said that he's touched it. So it's a confirmed goal at the moment, but no doubt the ARC will have a look at this to see whether there was a fingertip on it from Ed Richards. Good forward craft though, forward stoppage craft from George Wardlaw, who's tried hard today.
Back in the team for his 17th game for the season. Rising star, strong contender.
So it's been given the all clear.
You can't believe it, Ed.
Come on. 3:23 left in it. Montempelli in the middle, tackler immediately. Tyler Simpkin has to return it. As usual, he's had more time right on ball today. Sherry thought he could snatch it and run. He snatched it, but he couldn't run. But Scott works his way through. Davies Uniac. Zerha. Jones on their side again. Caleb Daniel kept them guessing. Always turning, swivelling, making it difficult to stop him. Back to Bramble. And then to Liberatore. Eyes up. Trelaw's out at left half forward. Darcy down the line. Too far out to goal for our liking. See if he can add to his tally of 7. Stayed in. Vandermeer. Tucker tracked it. And Darcy had enough energy to make sure it went over the boundary line.
I'll settle for 8. I'll settle for 8.
One to finish this game. It's been an excellent game, hasn't it, from Sam Darcy? 7 goals. His contested marking has been sensational. Certainly been the best player on the ground.
So Camus won it that time. Davies Uniac looking for Simpkin. Taken by Bramble. Out to Curtis. Now Scott. Scott looking further afield to Teagle, but the kick was too strong. Duray backpedals to Jones. So Jones in a transition to the dockside to Fraser. And that's a good accurate kick to McRae.
It's been good McRae since he's come on as the sub.
He's been excellent.
16 possessions, 6 score involvements, 2 to himself.
So McRae zigzags and zigs again and kick to the edge of the square. Simpkin takes one. There's a highlight for the show reel for North Melbourne.
That's what you're talking about, Hutto. You just never know.
Of all the people we could have thought may have been a contender for mark of the day in the year, we probably didn't have Simpkin on our list.
Caleb Daniel wouldn't be on there either.
And maybe he did go too early with the best mark early on.
Still
49 to go.
It's a good leap, but
Well, it's probably not mark of the year. But Simpkin will take it. Zerha. Larky demanding it. Instead, he reroutes the kick for Curtis, who wanted to move on. Now he's going to go back and have a set shot.
cracking out there or something.
So we're able to hit the scoreboard today after a big game last week. 3 goals, 4 from long range. Curtis improves the angle. Can't improve the score by much.
So it's Dale and Fraser back in the side and has performed really well. So The Dogs are just going to lap this up in junk time now with 30 seconds to play.
Time for the defenders just to get a couple more kicks before this one ends.
Williams to Bontempelli. Long searching ball for Treloar. It might not be over yet. Treloar in space to Darcy. Couldn't quite take it, but he's going to get a free kick.
After the siren, a big snap from 45.
Good fear from
Jono's filthy. Jono's filthy. He wanted the 8 by himself. He does have to be careful here because the siren will go. And if he starts to wheel out, the umpire will call him play on. That's right. So force him to run straight, Jono.
So how appropriate. It's been his day, and he gets the final kick of the match.
15 score involvements.
Phones are out. Everyone's happy.
So 7-1 so far as Darcy comes in from about 45. And it's not going to be the finish we wanted, but it's the result that the Western Bulldogs wanted and needed. They can perhaps start talking finals. Talk finals yet. We need to walk the walk and earn that title of being able to really give ourselves a genuine chance. We have to win these matches, and he'd be happy today. Let's head down to Sarah.
Sam Darcy, mission accomplished in a big way, a powerful way. What will Luke Beveridge be most impressed about that effort from the boys?
I think just the response from last week, where we fought out for 4 quarters, was from all lines was really positive.
You talk about the response from last week, 1 goal 5 to 7 goals 1. How did you turn it around?
I didn't try and overthink it throughout the week because I was disappointing last week, but just kept to my routine and backed myself in.
Do you feel that confidence building early as you maintain that accuracy throughout the game?
I think so. I think just try and not shy away from my routine and what I've done my whole life. So just back that in.
Talk to us about the synergy you have with Jamara in the forward line and also Aaron when he's down there. The way you're able to move together.
I think we're just building the connection. The more footy we play together, it's a luxury having those 2 boys down there. So really good night.
The midfielders may well say so. You should have kicked so well because it was an avalanche of inside 50s. Talk to us about the efforts of the boys in the middle, particularly at centre bound.
I think, Lobby filling in for Tim today was a big responsibility. I thought he did an unreal job against a really good ruckman. And then, the boys in there do what they do so well with their contest and got the ball going our way.
Do you have a look at the ladder from time to time? It is oh so tight. You've done the job today, but you're going to have to do it again next week against the Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such an even competition at the moment, so we just got to take it. Against the Giants next week, we're a really good side, so we've got to bring the heat again.
Do you know what your old man's PB in front of goals was?
No, I'm not sure.
6, so 7 you betted him.
Yeah, just got him. I'll have that over him.
Well done on that today. An excellent effort from the boys, and good luck against the Giants. It's going to be a huge match.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Well done, Sarah.
Well done.
Got him to smile.
Well done.
Don't worry, he'll rub that in.
There's
Behind closed doors, he'll be telling Luke all about that one.
First text message when you get downstairs.
Got you, Dad.
Got you by 1, but
I reckon the old man was pretty happy with it too.
yeah, he was fantastic. 20 possessions, 16 score involvements. Just his ability. 11 of those possessions are contested as well. So it's not just easy lead-up marks. He's a bull up forward at the moment. He's a big, strong key forward, still lightly framed. And I think for the competition, you start to go, wow, what is Sam Darcy going to be? He could be anything.
It's almost about how quickly he gets to that too, isn't it, in terms of with this current team and the stars they have around him.
Imagine if he comes out and explodes in finals. Now, potentially, if results go their way today,
which we haven't seen too often in recent. Someone really. I mean, Durham emerged on debut in finals. Think of David Swartz going back, but there's others, I'm sure. But what a stage it could be.
They have developed a really strong forward line there, and there's that game next Sunday live on Fox Footy. that is going to have a lot of ramifications just for even potentially home finals, top 4 for the Giants. It is such a fantastic way to finish this season.
Well,
They need to get it done up there.
They'll be straight home. I'm sure the coaches will, in particular, to watch Carlton's performance today against the West Coast Eagles, because if Carlton drop that, then they secure the spot, as will Hawthorn if they win from a percentage point of view. So that's the next one that they'll have a close look at here, the Western Bulldogs.
Forecast 7 days out for Ballarat is fine, sunny and 18 degrees.
Oh, they're going to turn it on at the Rat.
Yeah.
It'll be packed, honestly. It will be packed.
Sovereign Hill will be bursting the days leading
There was
up.
a $100,000 gold nugget found up at Ballarat the other day, so maybe get there early if you're heading up the ground to go do some panning down at the local rivers at Sovereign Hill.
Well, they're panning for footy gold, aren't they, the Bulldogs?
It was a good combination. Even defensively, they were set up because it was a forward-half game for majority today, but thought O'Donnell was great on return. And when you look at what Liam Jones has been able to do since being recruited, Jaray's been just a good steady head back there, and Bramble's had an excellent year, who's not really discussed too often as well, but he's settled right into this defensive lineup.
Gives a good run, Bramble off half-back. And what it does do is, I mean, the evolution of Rory Lobb obviously back into the ruck today, but him playing behind the ball throws up some selection headaches when Tim English is right to come back. Caleb Daniel was tried forward as well. Obviously Riley West was subbed, so certainly there's going to be some questions at selection. What is the best version of the Bulldogs going forward? Clearly Tim English will come back into the side, but what role does Rory Lobb play? We'll find that out next week.
We all remember 2016, Bulldogs fans certainly do. So those Dogs fans, young and a little older, are delighted with what they've seen today. Smiles all around. Cheers for the skipper. Moments that some of those Dogs fans will never forget. The best of the season could still be ahead. One more win and they'll be there in September. They're taking care of the Rouge to the tune of 96 points.
All right, so that's it. A big Bulldogs victory today. 2018-138 defeat in North Melbourne. 6-6-42. It was hard for the old Kangaroos there today, only kicking 3 goals, 1 after half-time. And the Bulldogs piling on 11 goals, 8. 4 goals, 3 in that last term to the Bulldogs. They look pretty good. Set for the finals. If they can get over the GWS Giants next week, they're guaranteed a spot there. J1XEDFN. Yeah, sorry, I can't do the Hawks-Tigers game. Yeah, I've got to cover the West Coast Carlton game. But at that present time, it's quarter time there. Quarter time, can you believe it? Or just entering second quarter. Yep, it's quarter time, and it's the Hawks 9 goals, 3, 57, leading Richmond 1 goal, 1, 7. 50 points up at quarter time are the Hawks. This could be one of the biggest defeats of the Tigers' history coming up today. If the Hawks continue along the way they're doing right now, I'll tell you what, they're looking extremely, extremely dangerous. The Hawks, they're definitely one side I think can go all the way in September. Definitely the absolute hot form in team. They're going well, the Hawks. So let's keep a close eye on them. Hopefully I can cover the Hawks game next week. We'll see. But this game will be a cracker to cover next week. And that'll be the Bulldogs and the GWS Giants as well. Try and do all the games that matter next week. Hopefully they don't run into each other. I'll have to have a look at the fixture not too far away. Let's just have a look at the player stats as they finished for the day. And it was Adam Treloar leading the way with 33 disposals on the ground. 14 kicks, 9 handballs, 5 marks, 7 tackles, 3 clearances. He had a great game. Good to see him back into some form. Uganaki with 30. Fisher best for the Roos with 31. Bontempelli came into the game well. 29, good performance from him. Oh, Caleb Daniel, he's a bit of a star, isn't he, for the Bulldogs? 25 disposals. Always does the right thing, Daniel. Let's keep going down. Sam Darcy, 20 possessions. He probably just about gets best on field, I think, with his 7 goals there, 13 kicks, 7 handballs, 9 marks, 2 tackles, 5 hit-outs. Tell you what, that was a big game from him today. I think he ended up kicking 7. His father, Luke Darcy, best was 6, so he has got that over his father by 1. Luke McDonald was 16. Liam Shields with 14 there. Cody Waitman with 13. Just having a look at the stats there. For the players of the game, see what your favourite player, how they polled. Right, let's just go back up and we'll have a look at the goal scorers. Who kicked all the goals for the Doggies? And of course, that was Sam Darcy. 7 goals from his 13 kicks. Fantastic. 7 goals, 1 accuracy was just outstanding from him today. Ugelhagen ended up with 3 goals. Good job from him. Cody Waitman with 2. Ed Richards with 2. Aaron McNaughton with 2. Jack McRae with 2. All for the Dogs. Robert Hansen Jr. was the only multiple goal scorer there. For the Kangaroos with 2. Xera, Williams, Wardle, Vandermeer, Scott and Lakey were the other single goal scorers. For the AFL fantasy points, who topped the table there? Well, it was Sam Darcy, 133 points there. If you play the game, Xera on 122, Trelaw with 120, Bontempelli 115, Frasier 115, Ukanaki 108, Scott 103, Duria 101, and the rest under that. Fantastic. Let's just have a little bit of a look at the team stats now. Of course, the Bulldogs will probably dominate in most of these stats. 405, 60-odd free, more disposals to the Bulldogs. The kicks by 56. The handballs were pretty well even. The inside 50s, though, have a look at that. 69 to 34. 69 inside 50s for the Bulldogs for 38 scoring shots, nearly better than 1 in 2, so they did exceptionally well there. 34 inside 50s for North Melbourne just for the 12. And there's just so much pressure coming from the defence of the Bulldogs. They held up really, really well. Hey, oh, happy Sunday, said Boss Mike. Tina Bem mega love shout out to my manager. Great to have you here. Hope you're having a fantastic day there, Tina. Thanks for popping on in. Tina, if you're going to do a live, drop your link in the chat. And if anyone wants to pop over to your live, we can transfer over there because I'll only be going here for about another 5 minutes as we wrap the stats up. So if you go live, drop it here. Good to see you, Tina. Thanks to my manager dropping in. Always a pleasure to have the manager in the house. Disposal efficiency, 78-73, both pretty good in that aspect. Inside 50, the Bulldogs, of course, was going to be on top there, 58. Bettering their season's average. Poor old North Melbourne, just under their average. They just couldn't score enough as they went in. Free kicks, Dogs by 6. Not too bad in the free kicks, 21-15. Plenty of free kicks given, though, today. The hit-outs, well, North Melbourne, they clearly won that, 48-19. Well done there. Clearances, the Dogs by 9. Centre clearances, big margin there, 17-8. The Dogs about 40% up on their season average, so they did fantastic. Their midfields were their mids were on fire, and the stoppage clearances 23 each apiece. Contested possessions pretty level. Uncontested possessions, well, the Dogs just controlled it, didn't they? By about 60 turnovers. Of course, the Kangaroos turnovers were going to be a lot higher, just through the pressure of the Dogs. I'm good to see the Dogs there with only 49 turnovers, well under their season's average, so that was pretty good. Time in possession for the match, 45% to the Dogs, 40% to the Kangaroos. The marks, Dogs well on top there by 52 as well. Marks inside 50, well, they did it again, the Dogs, 18-6, 50% above average. Always going to be hard to stop when that happens. Contested marks, both pretty strong in the air. Let's have a look at the defence. The tackles, a little bit more pressure there by the Bulldogs, 64-50. Tackles inside 15 where it counts. All the pressure coming from the Dogs, 13-2. And the bounces, 10-6 to the Dogs. And, of course, the 1%ers, the Bulldogs. Having a look at the live ladder now. And, of course, if we turn Hawthorn, let me just have a look at that. All right, so this is actually the live ladder. The Western Bulldogs, they move up into 6th spot now. A game clear of Carlton. The Carlton have still got to play this afternoon. They start their game in about half an hour. And of course, that should be, if Carlton lose, then Western Bulldogs will guarantee their spot in the top 8. Hawthorn are playing at the moment. They're looking for a big percentage booster, playing Richmond. Hawthorn were 50 points up at quarter time, looking set for victory there also. So it's going to be very fascinating. The final 8th spot coming up, especially if Carlton lose. If Carlton lose, then there'll be three teams vying for that 8th spot into the finals with only 1 round to go. But that is the final scores of this game, where the Bulldogs were just way too strong for the Kangaroos. 2018 138 to the Kangaroos 66-42. If you're a Bulldog supporter, you'll be certainly happy in what you saw today. They had their game going well, all their structures in place. And of course, for the Kangaroos, as I said, don't be too disheartened. They did give it a good crack today, but the Bulldogs were just way too strong. All right, folks, that's where I'm going to leave this live. I'll leave the scoreboard up for a bit. But before we go, we did have the poll. Who was going to win this game? We had 54 votes in, of course. 77% went for the Bulldogs. 22% went for North Melbourne. Of course, the poll got it right again. I often do get it right, the poll. Well done to everyone who voted for the Bulldogs. Absolutely fantastic. All right, folks, thanks for all coming in. 57 now to 13. Hawthorn, Richmond, 9-3, 57 Hawks. Now the Hawks just put on another goal. 4 minutes into the second quarter there. It's 10-3, 63 Hawthorn, leading Richmond 2 goals, 1-13. That's 5 minutes into the second quarter there at the MCG. But the next game we'll be covering will be West Coast versus Carlton. A big game coming up. A game where I think West Coast can take it right up to Carlton. West Coast starting favourite in that game. Carlton, the underdogs, which is a little bit unusual. There we go. Carlton need to win this game if they want to play finals this year. So there we go. All right, folks, I'm out of here. I'll leave the scoreboard up there for another 3 minutes for any latecomers who want to come in and check the score to see how their team went. But until next time, ciao for now. We'll see you in the next live. We'll see you at the West Coast Carlton game. Or if you've got time, anyone still in the chat, you want to head over to Tineen Bem Bem's channel. Head on over there. She's going to do a live not too far away. She's actually doing a live. If you want to hop over there and say hello, let me just drop that link in the chat for everyone. I'll drop that now. All right, just about to drop it. There we go. If you want to hop over there, say hello. Say that Mike sent you from Everyday Part of Life. And that'll be much appreciated for the viewers in the chat. I might hop over there. We'll go over and see Tina's live over there and say hello. All right, come join me, folks. Come say hello. And we'll see you in the next game in about 30 minutes' time.